Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Quick and Slow Comedy Show. I'm Aaron Maslow. I'm a person who is a part of this thing. This week on the show we have Mark DeBonis and Lisa Baker. They're going to talk to Nick and Jamie about comedy. Some serious fun stuff here, especially if you need to know where the best places are to do comedy in Canada. And they're going to talk about the weather in Canada, and they're going to talk about driving in Canada. Specifically, that you can't drive in Toronto's, and you can't park your car in Toronto, and if you're going to go to Toronto, you're better off walking. Mark is a great guy. He is from Toronto. I don't know how many times I'm going to say Toronto, but there's another one. He's going to talk about some differences in the comedy lineup when you're middling or emceeing versus being the headliner on the road specifically. And Lisa's going to jump in there too and talk about all the stuff she knows, especially working a room with crowd work. Nick is going to talk about what to do with your car and how to get it fixed, because if you didn't know, Nick is also a mechanic and he knows all that there is to know. We're going to start off talking about diets and the effect of quinoa on your culture. We're really glad you came by, really excited to have you. If you want any more information, please check out our website at quickandslow.com. You can see Mark DeBonis' website, markdebonis.com, and check out Jamie Nall's website, jamienall.com. She does some great artwork, and she'd be happy to do it for you if you just check out our website. Anyway, we appreciate your time, and I hope you enjoy the show.
I found, because now I make all these jokes about, like, when I eat a burger, I'm going, my liver's going to be so angry, and no, my fucking angry liver. And then because there's this commercial that the Liver Foundation put out a few years back, and I posted it on Facebook, and I showed my friend, and I go, this is the commercial that was directed towards me. And it's all these people in the commercial, nobody's got alcohol. They're like cheersing with like
meat,
with like chicken wings and pieces of pizza and ice cream cones. So they do all these like spoof beer commercials, but they replace them with food. And it's talking about how liver disease is not only caused by alcohol.
Yeah.
But it is a new thing. It's not, certainly
Weird.
Not something, it's not something that
Well, welcome to the world of Nick's horrible diet.
Well, that's
You're
it, you know.
Gonna eat salads and chicken
I know,
breasts.
but I don't mind eating that stuff, but it's just, I fucking like burgers, man. And I just need to change how I see food. I need to change it from...
It's fuel.
I need to see it as just fuel.
Well, I don't eat meat. I haven't eaten meat now for almost 2 months. And when I first did it, it was a little hard, but I just kind of stopped liking, like, first of all, like we were talking about it earlier, like I can't stand the smell of eggs, like especially when I'm like cooking them.
Oh, so you don't eat eggs?
I don't eat it. I'm not like a vegan.
Will you put them in stuff though?
I had like I had like a fried rice, and then it had egg in it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, all right, that's cool. But like when I'm making like bread or whatever, like I'll put like an egg in it. Like I don't want to eat like
I can eat 12 eggs in a sitting.
Yeah,
you don't
nothing
want
else.
to.
I love
so,
eggs.
and you, I'm assuming you eat cheese and.
I eat
like
cheese. Yeah, I had like 4 slices of cheese pizza. Like it's just like for me, it was like I just didn't.
I think Jai Harris is the same way.
He doesn't eat.
He's vegetarian, but I don't think he's vegan because I've seen him eat.
He's younger than me, but looks so much older than me. He's one of my types.
Jai, I love Jai Harris.
Yeah.
I just worked with him a little while ago. But
Is he out here now? Or is he
no,
Vancouver,
no,
right?
he's in Vancouver. Yeah,
yeah,
he
yeah.
just came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know, because he was eating pizza, and we had the vegetarian pizza when we were at Century Casino.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay, so he's not total vegan. He's vegetarian. Unless there was something on the go with the cheese that I didn't know about. You know what I mean? But,
Yeah, I doubt that. But
I doubt it too.
It's really weird because like everyone's talking about like.
But I
Sorry,
just say
Mark.
that I very much dislike vegans.
Oh, for sure.
I very much dislike them because they are the most arrogant bunch of cocksuckers.
For sure, 100%.
Right? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
most vegetarians I meet are like really cool hippie types,
God.
right? So they're like, no, this is not for everybody,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Like, they're really chill, right?
Yeah.
But no, I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck how many people I offend right now. Because I was talking to a chick last night on Facebook. One of the girls posted on Facebook a picture. It was a meme. And it showed like a delicious salad with like meat on top. She goes, and the meme says, this is dog meat. She goes, the way, and then it goes, she goes, she's not saying it, but she's posting it. The reaction you're having right now is how vegans feel about meat in general, right? And I was like, okay, no, I understand. I said, because I went to a restaurant recently and they served kangaroo and I couldn't do it. It was weird to me, right? So I was like, I can't eat, I could try alligator because I don't like alligators. They're mean. But a kangaroo, like, I just couldn't do that. I've been conditioned like dogs.
It's weird, yeah.
Right? And then somebody, one of her friends commented and was going on about like, more or less because, so you think one animal's right to life is more important than another? I go, I'm sorry, animals don't have a right to life.
Yeah.
You might think they do, but they don't.
Yeah.
Right?
They-
Like the last time I checked the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, it does not cover fucking animals, lady.
Yeah. Yeah.
They
Right?
can't talk. They can't vote.
So,
And
right?
parrots even can't.
Sorry, right? But then she's going on, and then she's talking about whatever, get the fuck out of here. Like, we're going to destroy the planet, meat eaters. And I go, oh, so you're telling me that no animals are harmed when you eat? And she goes, it's called being vegan. And I go, oh, so when the land is cleared for farmland,
Yeah.
where the fuck do those animals that lived on the land end up?
Exactly.
And the animals that sneak in and eat the fucking vegetables and fruit they're growing, where the fuck do they end up?
And you know what? It even goes farther than that. Like, I don't know the exact details to this because someone was telling me about it. But, like, for example, quinoa, I think, it's considered like an ancient grain from, like, Egypt or wherever.
And it's spelled with a Q.
Yeah, it's Quinoa.
Yeah,
I thought it was a rapper. I
Canoe
legit
you
thought
are.
it was a rapper.
But wherever it comes from, it is, like, pretty much essentially like oil for Alberta and Canada, where it was their main thing. And then because of this whole vegan, vegetarian craze, the price of quinoa went up so much.
So they cleared land.
But people couldn't even afford quinoa in their hometown. Like,
oh my god.
I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's something about because it's in more demand now. Like, there are bigger companies coming in, like, and it's like it's screwing up like people who live off this stuff.
It's a staple. It's
Yeah.
like potatoes to the Irish, which really pisses me off because that's the thing. Vegans won't hear you up on their fucking high horse, right?
Yeah.
They're up there going, no, I'm better than you because I don't eat anything that's alive. It's like, you know what? You can eat a dick. That's what you can fucking eat.
No, vegans
Because
can't.
I
It's
fucking
meat.
hate them. Like, don't get me wrong. There are vegans who are truly trying to affect change and are very they're intelligent. They're researched. Everything.
Yeah.
And they can sit there and go, no, you're right. On those things. It can't be perfect. But don't sit there and fucking treat me like I'm fucking Charles Manson because I eat fucking bacon while you're fucking really, at the end of the day, no fucking better. Right? It's like, I don't eat meat, because I'm a good person. No, you don't eat meat so you can tell people you're a good person. Like, fuck off.
The post-production on this podcast is done by Aaron Maslow, a well-known vegan. So, Aaron, enjoy editing this.
Well, what I'm going to say, I
Fuck
have,
Aaron, too.
That's why I was laughing so hard. I'm like, this is going to go
What
through a
happened to
vegan.
the other guy? The cool
vegan
guy with the
editor.
beard and the cool girlfriend.
he died from meat diseases.
Yeah, he died from
no.
meat-borne
Sam,
disease.
where's Sammy?
I think that he is a professional beer taster now who travels.
Good
so on.
for
So, yeah.
him.
He's made it as a beer taster.
I used to love seeing him and his girlfriend at Yucks all the time.
I
They're
know.
adorable, the two of those.
Yeah, now the sound
So
guy, you
nice.
don't like that new sound guy
I do
anymore.
not like the new sound guy.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't talk about that.
Because it's
No,
like,
because I got
You're like,
I
I don't care
well,
what I say.
they're
Fuck
very
vegans.
they're
Not
very
this
outgoing with if you're against their beliefs, which is the only thing. Like, I don't like. I hate telling people I don't eat meat now because, like, if it was like in the '90s, I would have been like some weird guy. But now I'm like, oh, you don't eat meat? Oh,
You're
what
like
are
the
you?
gluten-free
Yeah,
people.
like it's like, what are you like trying to fall? And I'm like, look, like, and especially like I'm trying to go down to LA, and everyone thinks that I'm like just fitting into that vibe. There,
Yeah.
I'm like, look, I could not give a shit what's going on in the general public. What I care about is if it hurts my stomach. Or if it makes me feel bad, like not like mentally
That's what I
bad,
find
like
with most vegetarians, because a lot of vegetarians are still like they're lacto-ovo or they
Yeah.
eat fish, right?
yeah,
And I find that a lot of the vegetarians, that's their mentality is that
Yeah.
it didn't make me feel good.
that's
what
it.
What
Right,
is
and
lacto-ovo?
Lacto-ovo is a vegetarian who will eat
Oh.
eggs and drink milk.
Oh, so
or
not
milk
like,
pro- eat
okay.
milk
I was thinking like an
products, right?
alt-rock
Dairy.
band or something.
No. Because and the only reason I know this is because I had a teacher in high school, our nutrition teacher, and cooking teacher. She like home ec kind of thing.
Oh, okay. I'm
And,
like, wow, that's a good class. They should have that here.
Yeah, it was great actually. And she was a lacto-ovo vegetarian, and she had taught
Okay.
us about pernicious anemia and how you have to be careful, and
Yeah.
and so she was very. It was the same thing. But she grew up. Her thing was she grew up on a farm,
Okay.
and
So
she
she couldn't
eat
not-
the animals.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it. She said, I remember being a little kid eating all my vegetables and the meat. She go, my parents would sit there until it got dark,
Yeah.
and then they go, okay, go to bed. And
Because she
Wow.
saw them. And,
yeah, as a little
See,
kid, she made it, but it was because
As a little kid, I was given a gun and like told kill an
right, and
animal,
exactly,
and then I ate the animal.
and I was taught to fish
So-
as a kid, and like
Yeah.
hunting wasn't, you know what I mean?
I had to learn. It's like That what you're eating? It was this.
Yeah,
like,
and I think
there's
that's
It's
the thing.
different. It's different when it's your pet.
Yeah,
I think.
on a farm, I think
Yeah.
it's different than
Yeah.
going out to hunt it.
Well, we
right?
raised chickens too, and they were fucking assholes. Like a
Yeah,
chicken
well,
attacked
chickens are
me.
assholes.
It attacked
Yeah.
me when I was a
Yeah,
kid. So
but like
they
a
know.
pig.
Yeah.
Just imagine like a pig, like a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
baby pig, and then and a little cat. Have you seen calves?
oh yeah.
They're fucking adorable, and
Yeah.
they like run and
I know.
play. They're just the cutest.
Did you
little
not hear
things.
about when I helped my buddy at the farm?
No.
My buddy had a farm. It was a dairy, and he was switching it over, and they had some bulls and everything.
Yeah.
So he got a young bull, and they were gonna castrate the bull. And this is like his first go at it, and he's like, "Nick, you're outdoorsy. We hunt all the time. Come give me a hand with this, and I'll give you a whole bunch of this moose." I'm like, "Sweet." So I go over there, and like he ropes it, and he's tying up the fronts, and I'm like holding the back legs for him.
Don't
as
tell me it
it's on
comes
the
back to
ground.
life.
What?
Does it come back to life?
Yeah, no, it doesn't die in this story.
Oh.
He's
Yeah, they're
it.
castrating it. So like I'm holding the legs, he's roping the front, and it just starts diarrheaing on me because I'm like
Oh
tackling the
my
back, so it's like
God.
shitting on me.
That's
so
a lot of. He's gonna
I-
owe you a lot of moose.
So I grabbed the two legs and I just started kicking its asshole with my boot until it
Oh,
got
and then, did it like spray like when you
stuck.
hold your
Yeah,
thumb on
it
a
was, like,
hose?
spraying all around like a thumb over a hose, and I'm throwing up on myself and covered in shit.
Gross.
That's disgusting.
And then, like, we castrated, we cut off its balls, and he gave me a whole moose and new clothes.
I don't.
oh my god!
I agree.
Was it a
I
moose
agree.
jacket?
I boot fucked its ass until my boot went into its
And see,
asshole.
and that's why I have an issue sometimes though with farming. Right?
And you're like, have you? And you're
Yeah.
like, have you seen calves? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll fucking eat them.
That's
His
mean.
shit got in my mouth. Okay, I will eat all of their flesh.
I've had
They
baby
owe
shit
me.
in my mouth though. You give birth. I've had baby shit in my
Were
face.
you castrating
I had
the
my
baby?
friend's kid shit in my face.
You have a
Oh.
really
I had
close
watched my
relationship.
friend's kid shit in her face. That was fucking funny because I'm sitting there and it's like on her face and her daughter. I'm trying to help her clean her, and her daughter just doesn't want any part of this getting cleaned up. And I'm trying to help her, and she's like, "It's on my mouth. It's on my," because it's like on her lips, and I'm dying. I'm dying,
Oh
and I'm
my
like,
god!
"You're just gonna have to deal with it for a minute till we get her cleaned up. You don't want to roll around
Did
and
you like?
shit."
Did you like pick up the kid like you were gonna power bomb it and just hold it in the air like you're going for the WWF
no,
championship?
you just clean them up. You just,
And it just
you know what
shoots
you're
out.
getting into. You know.
Yeah, that's why like you pull out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
would-
don't date guys with a strong pull-out game.
Yeah, apparently. Also, your memory of pills.
But the good news is that all my medical conditions mean that I probably won't get pregnant.
Oh, there you
And they
go.
said, "Do you want any more kids?" I was like, "No, absolutely not." And then they were
Yeah.
like, "Well, okay, then good, because you probably won't get pregnant without intervention until we fix all of this." And I was like, "Well, then why don't we just leave it all as it is?" Because
Yeah, you know, like, sounds
I don't
great.
fucking
You're
want
gonna
any
save a lot of
babies.
money there.
I don't
Yeah.
want any more babies. Fuck that.
It's
I'm
natural.
38. They're not normal after 38.
Yeah.
They come out fucked up.
Oh,
I'm
Yeah,
not.
I've
This
heard.
is
Yeah,
not
I
good.
did.
It's high risk,
yeah, I did.
right? Like,
Yeah.
fuck, I could have a Nick McQuick little gingy
Oh,
free.
yeah, that'd be weird.
That
So
would
ginger,
be weird.
That's where all gingers are born. From
Yeah.
people who have kids after 38.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they are.
Don't
It's
feed
like-
them after midnight.
Soulless eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
After
I don't know.
After 38, you can't make a soul anymore. Just
Yeah.
a husk.
I wouldn't want to be on a farm, but I have decided that I want to own one and just have like live-in farmers. Is that a thing that
People
happens?
in Alberta
little bit.
actually lease out their land.
Yeah.
So there's people up here that lease out their land.
But I want it to be my stuff still.
Oh, okay. So you want to just hire people to run it? Well, I can't see why not. Lots of people own places and just hire.
That's
people
what
to
I'm
run
thinking.
It.
I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know if that's how the farming industry
You
works,
can't,
where you could just
like-
bring in a farmer and his family to live there,
Here's
and then I can come every like 3 months, get my crops, and then leave.
They have that, and I only know this because writing on a political show and the Bill 6 debacle that happened here in Alberta a while ago. Small farmers like make up less than like 2% of farms globally, though. So it is very hard for you to find good people to work on that farm.
That's the problem, I guess, because
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing.
No,
Yeah.
I just like
wouldn't
the
know
idea
either.
of being like, oh, I got like corn on
People-
a secret land somewhere. You know, like
They'd be like, "Lisa, you're a farmer. What'd you do today?" "I played with the pigs."
I drove the tractor in a straight line and then turned
Yeah.
it around and drove it in another straight
That-
line.
I
That's
learned how to
exact-
gear down.
Yeah, ooh.
oh yeah. I had to do a couple of years ago. I did a commercial for Tim Hortons, and I actually had to play a farmer, and it was the most embarrassing thing because they were like real farmers watching us because we were on one of their farms,
Oh, my God.
and we had to like throw like bales of hay, and like we were all like, it was like the scene from Zoolander when they blow up the car. Like we were all like joking around, and then they for some reason decided to get me to drive the tractor in the scene. And I, first of all, don't know how to drive stick shift. And second of
Oh.
all, it was left-hand stick shift.
Yep.
Third of all, it's a tractor.
Yep.
And fourth, the guy who was teaching me didn't speak English because we were in Montreal and he only spoke French. So he's trying to teach me in 10 minutes because we needed to get this shot while the sun was rising about how to do this.
Oh, fuck.
So I'm like shitting my pants because I'm on this huge tractor and all this scene was I had to drive by, wave to the guy, and that was it. But I couldn't move. I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And I didn't know that you're supposed to hold the clutch down, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I finally hold the clutch down, get it going, put it in first, and then it all's working. We got the shot, and then they're like, okay, cut. But I don't know how to stop because I don't understand the concept of like downshifting or anything. I'm hitting the brakes. I'm trying to figure everything out. Nothing's working. The crew runs because I start going right towards the crew.
Oh,
I went off the
my
set and I start like
God,
driving
no.
into the field.
Oh,
And everyone's screaming. And the farmer,
no.
he's like, downshift. I'm like, I don't know what that means. And like, he's like, hit the clutch. And they're like yelling at me. And they filmed another tractor scene and they had to get a stunt double or like a guy on the crew to pretend he was me because they're like, he's not driving the bigger tractor. Because there was one that had like 15-foot wheels, and
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah.
"There's no way you're driving that one."
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
We don't have enough insurance.
It was the scariest thing,
Wow.
but I got paid $500 to drive a tractor.
Well, that's pretty good.
Oh, there
Because
you go.
and I didn't know because someone came up to me and they're like, "You should get more money because you're driving a tractor."
Yeah, I would think you would get more money.
It's like stunt pay or something like that, or like
Mhm.
special skills or something. I go to the guy,
Yeah.
I'm like, "Hey man, like, did it?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll put that down." I'm like, "Nice, that's my rent."
Yeah.
right there.
That's
you go.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm amazed at how many people can't drive stick anymore.
I like as a mechanic, you have to.
Yeah, you have to know.
So
yeah.
like
I'm
I
trying
knew
to
it.
learn. Like like when we drove to LA, my friend's car was stick shift,
Yeah.
and like he started getting to the point where it was like scary. Like I had to drive, and it's cool because we were like in the middle of nowhere. But then it got scary because we were on the side of mountains, and I didn't like for when he was sleeping and we were driving up like 10,000 elevation, and like I was like
You
I had it in
downshift.
6th gear,
Yeah, you
and
know.
I'm like hitting the
You
gas.
might want it in fourth.
Yeah, I found that out the hard way because I'm like hitting the
Yeah.
gas
You
and
were
it's
like
revving.
70.
Yeah, and like people are, I'm like, man, we're gonna fucking die. And then I had to pull over to the side of the road. Cars flew by, and then I realized I'm like, oh, I probably got a downshift. So then I put it in like
Yeah.
third or fourth, and then it was fine. But whenever we would go through a little town, I left the hazards on because I'm just like, you guys got to just go around because
Well, that's a good idea because even like I'm trying to teach my son,
yeah.
and I took him out a couple times. I haven't taken him out since.
Get him on a Tim Hortons set, okay?
But yeah, I drive stick, and I drove to BC, and that's when I learned too. Was going up. I had to go through the mountains.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola?
Yeah, and which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And 120. What? So I was in fourth the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes it a lot easier. Mine, I have a 5-speed standard, so
Okay. Yeah.
yeah, but I love it because especially when you're a road comic, because it's very easy to kind of get
Gas.
well, my car runs on nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the thing
like,
about stick.
yeah,
I
like
really want to learn how to drive.
yeah.
Like,
I drive a tiny. It's a Mazda 2.
yeah.
And I've driven from Devon out to Sunnybrook, which is like 40 minutes, back to Devon, so it's another 40 minutes, picking up Kevin McGrath.
Yeah,
Then we
yeah.
drove to Fort Mac on one tank of gas.
That's
that cost me
amazing.
at that time it was like $28.
Oh my god.
But now,
So that's
mind
like
you, we were on a
7
wing
hours
and a prayer.
almost.
Well, yeah, roughly, and we were on a wing and a prayer when we rolled into Fort Mac. We were on suck because they had twinned the highway and I'd missed the last gas station.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I said to Kevin, "This is not good." And then Kevin's freaking out. I was like, "Don't worry, it's Fort Mac. There's trucks going by. Someone's got a jerry can. It's not going to be a big deal."
Mhm.
And then we got close. I said, "Okay, now it's definitely not a big deal because we can just pick up the front of the car and drag it into town."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, but it's it's definitely a better vehicle to have. But I like it because it's more fun to drive.
That's exactly why I want it.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
feel
so
like
much
I do
cooler.
like
Yeah, like you
a
feel
race
like you're
car.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I love about it. And the thing that was good was I was able to do it purely off sound. Like I didn't have to look at the
I
thing.
don't either. Yeah, you can hear it
So,
and feel it.
I was
Yeah,
able
it's
to
feel.
feel it, but the thing is, my friend had an Audi, the guy we drove to LA with, and he's like, you should feel it, and I'm like, okay, and I never really felt it. I'm like, man, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what are you feeling? And then when I got back to Toronto, my friend has like a Nissan Altima, this old car that he was gonna scrap, and I'm like, man, like I want a stick shift car, like a beater, so I can
Yeah.
learn how to drive. I'm like, can I take your car for a drive? I drove his car, and I guess it's like the luxury cars. You can't feel the shift as much as you can in like an American or Japanese car. Because this guy in the Nissan, I was able to actually feel it. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, now I know
Yeah.
that it's like,
You can kind of feel it in an automatic too. If you ever drive an automatic up a hill or down a hill, like you
and
can feel it.
that's
yeah.
kind of how I figured it out, because I was like, I know with my car I can feel it. It revs up to over 3, and then it'll go down to 2.
It'll drop.
And,
yeah,
and then and then he's like, you want to keep the RPMs like under 2 for the most part.
you try, but I mean, like mine's 5-speed standards. A lot of times mine's a little over 3.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, there's no control over it. You're doing a buck
Or
30.
maybe it's 2 or 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know,
usually
yeah.
they say between 2 and 3, but
Yeah.
if you like, I'll drive in 5th when I can, just like even if the speed limit's 70,
Yeah.
because it's just the lower RPM, the less gas you're gonna burn. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
But yeah, they're fantastic, and you won't get stuck in these things in winter. You will not get fucking stuck in them.
I drive a Jeep.
Yeah.
It's been incredible. I've been driving 2 gigs, and they have closed the highway, and I'm like, well, they've got that road beside the highway, that
Yeah.
big ditch. I'll just drive in that.
Yeah,
and-
that's a
and
good
then
thing to have
I've
out here.
I drove out with Scott Porteous in like February, and they were closing the highway, and I was just like, we'll just go in the ditch until there's a highway that I can get on.
Did you sedate Scott to do
No,
that?
he it was like a roller coaster for him.
Yeah, because he's like, he
Oh.
will not drive in the winter.
No,
Like,
that-
Well, he got in
Drive
an
the gigs in the
accident, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, because I think I was out here that time.
yeah, he
And he's not quite.
yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a great man he's a great advocate for driver's ed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that is a wonderful
I
thing.
love Scott. He's so sweet.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a good dude.
It's but yeah, I learned to drive. I've only been driving for 3 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got my license when I
Really?
was. Yeah, I got my license when I was
And
35.
you started stick.
I
Wow.
learned on stick about 11 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I went out on 4 lessons, and I came home crying every time. And I was with the guy. There was a guy I was with in Newfoundland. And I looked at him every time. I was like, I can't. And then the last time I said, we're just gonna have to. I'm never gonna drive. We just have to realize that I'm not ever gonna be able to drive a vehicle.
Yeah.
And I could drive everything else though. I could drive dune buggies. I could drive 4-wheelers, motorcycle, like everything. I could not fucking drive a car.
Wow.
So it was like I'd come home and the next day I'd be sore because I was so like tensed
Just
up while I was
anxiety.
driving. So then when I was moving out of Alberta, my brother was like, "You need to get a car. You have no choice."
Yeah.
So I went and got my driver's license in Newfoundland. My permit was still valid, so I could get my license right away. I got my license, and then I moved here and I bought an automatic first. And then when I went to buy this car, it was in the showroom, and I loved it, but it was stick.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah. And they're like, well, have you ever driven stick? And I was like, well, actually, I learned on a stick a few years back. And they're like, well, you should take it out. So I went out with the salesman, and I fucking drove it. And he goes, you'll be fine. And I've been driving stick ever since.
There-
I've been
Because
driving
once
for,
you
like,
get
over
that
2
momentum
years.
going, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, the only thing, the
you
shitty
don't,
thing
you don't
is,
want to think about it.
Yeah.
That's
Because the
where-
shitty thing is, like,
yeah.
it's like when you teach someone to do something, you go, okay, here's step 1, practice that for a little
Yeah,
while.
and then
Oh.
Now
they're
here's
sitting
step 2,
there.
but you have
yeah.
to do everything at once.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's really bad driving with someone who's like, because when I was driving, I had to tell my friend, I'm like, look, man, just stop saying things.
Yeah.
Like, let me just do it. Like, I understand it's his car and stuff like that. Like, and that's obviously an issue, but it's like when you're like, okay, change, and then you start thinking about it, and I feel like that's where I would always screw up because like when he was sleeping, I would be like, just for fun, I'd be like, all right, let me downshift, let me
Yeah.
go up, like just because I was like trying to really get a hang of
get a
it.
feel for it.
And I would try and stop as much as possible.
That's
because,
how I was taught.
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to stop, and let's go grab a coffee so I can
Yeah.
reverse and
Yeah, my
Like-
ex taught me like that. He took me to a parking lot, and he was like, "Stop, now go.
yeah,
Stop, now
because
go."
going into first is always
the hardest part is taking
Yeah.
off. And same thing, he'd be like, "Get it in reverse, go,
Reverse,
stop, go, stop."
I don't
And
know
so
if I was able
got
to
it.
parallel. I don't know if I would be able to parallel park.
I can parallel park in mine now.
It's so scary
Yeah.
to me.
But you know what's really cool with the e-brake in those?
You could just spin in.
You spin out, spin in and spin
Yeah.
out. I've done that. I've
Or-
spinned out of spaces like in winter and stuff.
Really?
Spin right out, yeah.
That's
For-
so cool.
Yeah,
Getting
it
my
is.
license, you have to parallel park a tractor with a semi trailer on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a
What
good
license
one.
is this?
Class 1.
I think my dad.
What's a
my
class
dad has
one?
everyone
It
except
lets you-
motorcycle.
It lets you drive everything except
Everything.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
But like as a heavy duty mechanic, because you're working on the trucks and everything, you need that.
okay,
So
yeah.
like then when you're shifting and you guys are like you're like 5-speed, 6-speed, it is a
Was it
trans
14 or
Like
something?
18.
18.
Yeah.
18. And what you do is you shift up 7 times and then you click over. And each time you shift a gear, you've got to split. So you hit a button on it so you can split first gear. So you go to first gear and then split it.
1.5.
and then split it to 1.5. and then you go to second gear, and then you can split that again. So you go through all the gears, and then you click your range thing on the side up, and then you go down to first, and that's your 8th gear.
That's a lot of words, Nikki.
Yeah,
That's
it
a
is.
lot.
So you guys are like, oh yeah, shifting.
No,
I'm like,
I'm good.
oh, there is
What I like-
so much
What I
for
like
that.
about mine now, though, is I'm at the point where, you know how when you drive home and you get home and you're like, I don't even remember the drive home.
Yeah.
You're like, from work, it's so mundane. So, like, that's where I am now with my stick.
You don't even think about it, yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that I don't like about standard is that I can't
Traffic.
I just can't hold like a drink or something. Like
See, now
I
I'm
need
at
to
the
like
point
swap them out
I'm
fast.
like, I can, yeah.
You
Yeah.
do the swap?
I'll drive and, like, take off at a light.
Yeah.
And have my coffee. And I'll fucking, like, drink and fucking, like, bite the end of the fucking Timmy's cup and throw her in the first. Take a swallow, put it down, pop her in a second, smoke my cigarette. Like, I've got it fucking down.
Oh.
Which freaks me out because first I was like, what the fuck am
Yeah.
I doing?
Yeah.
And now I'm so proud of myself because when I get, like, a man will get in the car and I'll be like, hey, do you want to drive? And they're like, I can't drive stick. And I'm like, okay.
I'll see if I can learn.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, like, Kevin, like, older comics, well, like, Kevin McGrath, he drove my car for a nice chunk when we were coming back from Swift Current. But everyone that gets in it says the same thing. They're like, because there's only a couple of people have ever driven it because it is a stick.
It's
You've got
smooth.
your clutch point then.
Everybody gets in and goes, oh my God, your clutch is amazing.
'Cause it's
Which
new.
is good because I'm at 80,000 K, just about.
Oh, you're gonna have to do your differential soon.
What's that? I don't know what that is. What does that mean?
It's split gear in your rear axle. It's like cheap to do.
Okay,
It's
good.
not that expensive.
Okay, no, I'll do that.
You
then.
do it every 80,000.
Okay, good. My dad tells me what to do. My dad tells me all
Yeah.
the things. Because, like, I went to Jiffy Lube and I was at 40,000 kilometers and I was getting an oil change and the guy goes, you really need an engine flush. And I was like, that sounds really not true.
I like how Mark was like, Nick, what are we talking about at the podcast? I'm like, oh, fuck it. I don't know. We just go and we talk.
Yeah, we just talk.
That's what we're talking. We're talking cars. This
So
is
I
car
was like,
talk on this
no,
one.
no, I can't. I'm not getting an engine flush. And he was like, no, you really. I was like, no, my dad's a mechanic. If I get an engine flush, he would beat the shit out
Yeah,
of me.
you don't need
Yeah.
like you need an engine flush after your fucking engine's been on fire.
Right?
That's about the
And
only
my
time you
dad, my
need a
dad was
fucking
like,
engine.
it voids most people's warranties.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get
Really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, you don't
Well-
get an engine flush, don't get a transmission flush, don't get a radiator.
It's a
any
bullshit
flush.
thing.
I got both of those before I came out here,
No.
Yeah.
but I've never had one.
Yeah.
My car's from 2001, and I've had oil changes then the other. And the guy goes to me, I went to go to an oil change, and the whole don't tell me anything thing, just change the oil. And the guy was like, he was a really cool guy, like, he was in my neighborhood. And he goes, bro, like, you know that this stuff is supposed to be kind of clear. And he's like, it's black. Like,
Yep, let's change the filter.
he's like, well, he changed the filter. And then he's like, I'll do a flush for free. And I'm like, what is that?
Oh, he did it for free.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They want to charge me $100.
Oh, no, this guy was like, because he knew
Oh,
I
that's
was.
nice.
Yeah, he actually really hooked
How
up
many
a couple.
kilometers are on your car? It's probably quite high, eh?
Well, it's weird because I got the car from my uncle, and when I got the car, it says it was over 200,000.
Yeah.
But apparently, it has a digital
Odometer.
odometer, and they switched the odometer because the other one broke. So my uncle had written down the original, which was like under 150.
So there's probably like over 300,000 kilometers.
But no, like it's like less. Like I
Oh,
think
okay.
it might be now. I've had the car for 4 or 5 years. I think I might have around 200.
But I think I think what makes your oil dirty too is just going real long time, hey? And it just burns your
Oh.
oil.
Going like yeah,
I'm bad for that. I use synthetic because I'm bad for going over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will drive on empty. Like, is that what you're talking about,
No,
Tom Hay?
no, you're
no,
oil?
like you drive for 8 hours and then like 3 hours in, it's like ding, you need an oil change. You're like, fuck, I'll get that in a week.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I think those
I've
lights
gone.
do not work on my
I've gone
car.
like 4,000, 5,000 kilometers over on my oil changes. But
I've gone
I
like
do it
8
because
months without getting an oil change.
no, I've done it too.
Oh,
But see,
fuck,
I
that's
drive.
bad.
That's bad.
But I use synthetic for that reason because you
Oh,
can get
yeah.
longer out of
Well,
synthetic, right?
That's why I think the guy's like, you need to clean this because like. There was like my dad is like always on my case, and I'm like, I don't want to go
My
get an
dad
oil
does,
change,
too.
and he's like, you need to get an oil change. The car's gonna blow up.
Will you
I
blow
would
your
go
engine?
for like years
I know.
without an oil
God.
change.
I had bought a Ford and I drove it for
Ooh.
17,000 kilometers without getting an oil change. So I bring it in, and the guy goes to give me an oil change, right? And he goes, what was it he said? Oh, he goes, you need something. He goes, you should get it every so often. I was like, buddy, I went 17,000 kilometers without an oil change.
It's
and
a whole
that's,
scam.
And I said, that's banking on the dealership who sold it to me. Who's doing one before they sold it
Exactly,
to me. They
yeah.
probably didn't.
Yeah,
Right.
the whole thing's a scam. You probably don't even need oil changes.
No, you do. You do.
Is it proven?
Yeah, it's proven.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you'll blow your
Yeah.
engine. I tell you what's bad for Hondas are really bad. Like once you hit like Honda, you can drive to like 300k easy,
Yeah.
but you need to keep checking your oil after
You
like
need to
round
maintain
2
it. Yeah.
because they'll burn through oil so fast. You have
Well,
to keep topping it up.
I have a Nissan Maxima, and the car, like, if I just kind of have to get rid of it at this point, but like, maybe it's like, I honestly have not kept it up as well as I should, and that car still runs like exactly how it did when I got it.
Some of them are though. Like I drive a Mazda. Dad told me he was like, I don't see them in my shop. They're decent cars. You can rely on it, and I got that. But I tried to get my oil changes, but like I had an oil change, and then I went to Abbotsford, and I was like halfway to my next oil change, right? So I mean, like,
Yeah.
if I'm really busy, I can average an oil change every month and a half.
You should do gigs and then like tell them to throw in an oil change
Yeah.
coupon.
Yeah,
No, that's
a
where you
fucking
contact
idea.
Mr. Lube and you're like, I'll do your corporate comedy thing and we'll waive my fee if you give me a year free oil change.
I never thought of that. That's a fucking great
That's
idea.
what I do with Cineplex Odeon for my passes.
Are you serious?
That's where I get all my free movies.
Oh, I should do that. Should
You
totally
contact
do that.
them?
I'll
Yeah.
do it with Mazda.
Do you guys do
I like
not
taking my
realize
car to the dealership.
that like people with a product with an overhead, like with something they
They
can
need
give
to
you,
get stuff.
they will give that
Well,
to
the
you.
barter.
Like they will give you 10 times as much product as they would pay.
Yeah.
And if you're willing to not take pay and they can just write it off,
I tried to get
Wow.
Adidas, but it was
I-
way too hard.
I had Quicksilver for a while. They were giving me shirts and all the
Really?
clothing and everything.
Adidas, you had to go through like their corporate stuff, and it was like more for teams because like I have like almost
lot-
30
you've got a lot of track suits.
jackets.
I've
and
seen
stuff.
your track
Yeah,
suits.
like,
I bet though, like beer companies would be down.
Beer
you know what I mean? Like if I
100%
went to
they
like
would.
Molson and Labatt and was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I'll wear your
You're
swag
right,
on
like,
stage."
Oh, if you were to go like to like let's say Alberta Beer Festival and interview all of their heads of marketing for a weekend, that would probably be a really good way to meet people like that, wouldn't it? Like what I did all weekend. Yeah.
Whose house is this anyway?
Oh, it's yours. Congratulations.
Oh, thank
You
you.
want, you want a house?
you win the
I like
house.
it.
Yeah. It comes with cats.
I like cats. I have a cat.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
3 in here.
There's
somewhere.
one just came over and said hello to me.
Yep.
He's a
They're
big
all over.
fluffy one. I like
Yeah.
Ted.
The problem
Oh.
with sponsorships is you need to kind of fall into their category. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, even just like not just full on sponsorships, but like if you do their
or
Christmas
product.
party.
Yeah. Oh, like if you do a
Like,
show. For
yeah, if
them.
you
Oh
do
yeah,
that,
they're
you
gonna
show
throw
up.
shit at you then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I remember
Because I know, like, the beer companies give out, like, a friend of mine used to give me,
Like-
when I was in Newfoundland, like, a ticket for a free dozen beer.
Yeah.
You bring it to the liquor
Yeah.
store. They'll give you, like, books of those.
Oh yeah, because they
Right? Then you're like, here's all my Christmas shopping done.
yeah, like
Yeah.
they'll definitely they'll give you so much merch, like you were saying, if they don't have to give money.
Yeah.
It's like, remember like years ago when Tim Hortons did that whole campaign where they were like those 2 kids driving around Canada drinking Tim Hortons. Do you remember
Yeah.
that? Like it was a commercial from like a long time ago. So I was talking with somebody. I'm like, that'd be a kind of cool concept for a stand-up tour where you're like, hey, Tim Hortons, you know, give us some gas money and stuff like that, and 2 comics will
Well,
drive
because
across.
what the fuck do we drink the whole
Ex-
time
exactly.
we're on tour?
Like
when
I
we
was
hit up
drinking
more
Tim
Tim
Hortons.
Hortons.
Exactly. So
There-
I'm like, I'm already drinking. We go to every stop,
Oh,
make a
man.
little video.
We're eating their
and this-
donuts and their wraps.
And then my friend was like, that's a good idea, but you need to have, you got to look at Tim Hortons and you got to have your comedy to fall into that bracket. So
It
it,
would
has
have
to be a
to be
clean
clean.
show. It
Yeah.
has to be. And
There
then-
was some Toronto comics that did that with Mazda. They
yes,
came out
when you
here.
said Mazda, I was going to tell you
That's a great idea.
they got some cash.
And I drive a Mazda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She, it was Michelle Christine.
Michelle, and she's
Does
in
she
LA now.
drive
She's
one?
in LA now.
Yeah, she bought
No,
her Mazda.
she drives a motorbike now.
No, she has a Mazda also.
Oh,
okay. 'Cause I was
okay.
thinking
Yeah.
because my car is so good and I'm always bragging about it. And like every comic says to me too when they hear, they're like, "Yeah, that's a great road car." That would be a really
You
fucking
could talk
cool.
to the. I think she actually went to the dealership. She didn't even go to like Mazda.
You do realize this will
And I
come.
have a good relationship.
This will come
with
out, and comics will listen to it, and then they will get that.
They
So
got
go.
a decal.
Trademark,
They had-
trademark.
They had,
Trademark. You can't just say trademark.
Shut up. That's how it works. Stamp, stamp.
they had to put a huge sticker on the side of their car, I think.
Oh, I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Because I have a really
Free
good.
car. I'll put stickers everywhere.
Well, I have a really good
Yeah.
relationship with my dealership too, so that'd be really good. But yeah, because I think like you could
Talk
do
to
that.
them
Like I
about
think
it.
beer too. You could definitely tour Canada on Labatt style.
Well, the comic that I
The
was telling
money's hard.
the
but
guy
yeah.
I was telling you about on the break there, the YouTube guy that I worked with,
Yeah.
he got a Ford Focus prototype European Ford Focus to tour across America
And just to film videos.
and they
and
and they just gave him it to film videos, and he had to do one video a week, and they just gave him a car.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
that's exactly what happens.
Well, because
when
they'll
you're-
use the footage for commercials and stuff for promotion, right? But
Yeah.
Well,
I
I mean,
think-
he gets thousands and thousands of views.
Yeah,
and
yeah. I think, and it's free for them, there, right? Like in,
Well, it's
in a
free
way.
advertising.
It's,
Yeah.
it's overhead. They're like getting rid of it.
Yeah, but I think the comedy thing you could definitely do, especially with the beer or a liquor. Because I know in Newfoundland, the Newfoundland Screech Comedy Festival was promoted by Screech, right? It was sponsored by Screech.
Yeah, from Saved by the Bell.
So anyway, Jamie's giving you a thumbs down. So anyway, I think that you could do that and get a liquor company or like a liquor brand or a beer brand to sponsor you.
Hotels are
Do you
good
wanna
if
see-
you get a hotel.
Yeah, well, because I think even the beer companies would probably
on.
like if you're going to go through and do all that shit and like promote
Yeah.
their beer, but also have it. That's what's being served at the venues,
Yeah, exactly.
right? Then I
Yeah.
think then you would be more. They'd be more inclined to pay your
Yeah.
hotels, help you,
Yeah.
and you can make a shit ton of money doing that.
Oh,
if
for
you had
sure.
somebody sponsoring you to do tours.
At the beer festival, I met with Dave Garner of Yukon Brewing, and he was incredible. He knows, like, because I'm from the Yukon, and we talked so much about like how beautiful it is, how wonderful it is, and like he had beer and also whiskey they make, and it was some of like the best whiskey that I had at the beer festival.
I don't
which,
believe
I mean,
you.
Doesn't say much. It was really
I don't
good.
believe you.
So
we
yeah.
have
So
Well,
for
that's
your fucking,
awesome.
like, that you were talking about.
I think
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
I know it's really funny though because I don't drink much. So when
I don't drink much either, but
when I
I'll
drink-
promote your beer.
Yeah.
when I
Right? I'll drink one
yeah.
a day. They recommend that, don't they, for good heart health or some shit?
Yeah.
Does any makeup companies need a comedian?
I know,
Maybe.
I
right?
really want free that. 'Cause
Well,
I
you know
love
what?
that
And that's like
so
me
much.
too. If I could get some free microblading, if I can get some microblading for free,
Look at this.
right? Yeah, I know. I don't have eyebrows, like you know.
I have
And I
mine.
don't know what. And then people are like, "Well, then you just draw them on." And I'm like, "But I don't know what I'm going to feel today. I don't want. I don't want to commit to an emotion right now
Oh, see,
Yeah,
like,
at
I-
9 in the morning."
I used to have more eyebrows, but then I pulled them out when I was when I get crazy. I kind of like pull them out and I don't think about it, and so now I don't. So I just have them drawn on the way my eyebrows are.
Yeah.
when
Like
have
I just
them.
have to fill mine in because they're sparse, and then I have a scar here where they don't grow. So I just draw it there and hope nobody notices that it's just
Yeah, a
pencil.
little bit of Sharpie, just a
Yeah,
little bit.
just hope nobody.
Um,
you starting to look
care
like
so much about
Millhouse's mom.
eyebrows.
Yeah.
I did. It fucks me. You know what? I went to fucking Calgary and I did a show, and I had all these women come up to me after the show, and I swear to God, every one of them, I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with your eyebrows? Like, how bad are your eyebrows when you wake up in the morning that you think this is an improvement?" Right? And they're talking to me, and they're like, "I really enjoyed your show." I was like, "I couldn't tell. You look mortified. Like, you look mortified right now.
You look like you're planning to tie somebody to railway
It's
tracks.
horrible." And I don't understand why they've gone so and like
Everyone
guys
gets
give a
obsessed
fuck.
with it now.
It's
Like
really
guys
weird.
Like-
don't give a fuck about it, you know?
Yeah.
And
No,
you know
but-
what? Other girls don't give a fuck about it either until you fuck it up, and then we can make fun of you like I'm doing right now.
Yeah, until you.
So don't fucking worry about
Just have
your lips and your eyes.
fun,
and
guys.
normal eyebrows ish.
It's scary. It's
so
scary
easy
now.
being a dude. I don't even need to wear
No,
clean
people
clothes.
wear drag queen eyebrows now. Like literally,
They put the wax on. Yeah,
techniques
they do
that
the
are
Oh,
drag.
do they put the wax off?
or they do a fake. Like they'll start like light and then go to dark at the end, and it's like literally a technique used in drag.
Yeah,
Like,
in
that's
drag.
where
It's a
from.
drag technique. Yeah, for men to cover up their natural without having to get rid of their natural eyebrows,
and, like,
right?
Even the style of the application of the eyebrow, everything.
It's
Girls are
fucked
just
up.
wearing full drag.
Okay.
outside now.
But I
I-
feel
I
like
was-
if we could we need like female comics. That's what we need to get. Like I would even be happy if Tampax sponsored me
Oh yeah.
because I have a teenage daughter and I bought
Uh-huh.
my fucking tampons at Costco. And if I could get that shit for
expensive.
free, oh, I'm so down.
What if you get fancy ones? Like
Okay,
Pearl guys.
Yeah, like the plastic applicators, right?
I was only a
Yeah.
drag mechanic for a weekend. Everybody's eyebrows were fine. It was great.
Yeah, but dudes, when if you do like a real drag, they put like this wax on their eyebrows.
Yeah, like with the cars
Or sometimes it's just a glue.
and they
stick.
race.
You could
Anyway,
just use a straight glue stick.
What is drag me?
like you don't fucking know. Look
what?
at you sitting there.
I
like you
ate
don't
out one
fucking
tranny
know.
and now I know everything about drag queens. Is that how it
Oh,
works?
Fuck, Nick.
If you could pick any sponsor, like realistically, a product that you believe and you can get behind, like something that you would enjoy, not just for like the money or like the product or something, what's something that you like you would want as a sponsorship?
Something that I would really truly want.
Yeah, like let's say every sponsorship pays $100, every single one, like from Adidas to Ferrari to like Gucci Bandana or whatever that thing is.
Well, what do you get from them?
You get $100 a month, but
Yeah,
like
what's Gucci
Did
bandana?
you mean Dolce and Gabbana and
Yeah.
Gucci?
yeah, that's what I meant. That's the same thing.
I don't know what
Gucci
any of
bananas.
those words mean either.
It's Gucci bananas.
I worked at a call center
Because
for
I'm a
rich
Canadian
person's
comedian.
store. I worked at a
Yeah.
call center for a rich person's store. So,
But like,
So you know Gucci banana?
yeah,
Yeah, I know
yeah,
Gucci bananas.
Gucci bananas.
But so what? But yeah, okay.
You
but
don't.
you
You
mean
all,
like
they all pay exactly the same? It's
you mean
just
something
what,
that we'd be okay with being affiliated with? Something that we'd
like,
be
yeah,
happy to
like
be affiliated
Under
with?
Armour. Like, what's something that you would want to be affiliated with?
Oh, something that I would want to be affiliated with.
Like everybody in the room,
I don't
all 10
know.
of us.
I don't know.
Like, I like Under Armour. I'm wearing Under Armour right now, and I catch myself wearing it all the time.
I think Febreze.
We're gonna be an apple.
Yeah,
I
covers
like
up farts.
Febreze.
Febreze is great.
Isn't it fucking fantastic?
Get sponsored
And
by
now you can get
Febreze.
this little Downy Febreze thing that you spray on your clothes, so when you're on the road and you hang it, the wrinkles fall out,
What?
and it refreshes your clothes. And I bought it at the Dollarama. Oh, the Dollarama.
Oh,
That's who I want to sponsor me. I fucking love the Dollarama or the Dollar Tree. Probably
Okay, I've been told Dollar Tree has excellent merchandise.
the Dollar Tree is better because everything's $1.25. But I will seriously, I've been to Dollar Trees all over Western Canada because I will, every town I go to, I'm go, let's see if this motherfucker's got a Dollar Tree. And I love Dollaramas and Dollar Trees. If I see one that I've not been in yet, I will slam the brakes on my car.
I
And
have
like,
one like a block from my house.
I fucking, because for bullshit stuff that we buy, like you go to the grocery store and you pay $3 for a thing of aluminum foil, right?
Yeah.
That you fucking ball up and throw in the garbage.
It's actually
and you-
expensive aluminum.
Yeah,
foil.
and then you
Yeah.
go there and it's $1.25.
Yeah.
Sandwich bags, dishes, all their dishes are done. And you can get like matching sets.
Gum is half the price.
Yeah,
even.
they're-
Pop
they're-
is
yeah,
cheaper.
Yeah, I think it's
everything.
the only place where you can get a chocolate bar for $1 still.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
and
like
they, like
under
if you want to
$1.
do like say if you were doing up like a little gift basket for a kid, they have like fucking Mike and Ike's, like that brand name
Yeah.
candies. You can do that. And see, like this kind of.
I created this from Dollarama merchandise.
I'm telling you
It's
now, though,
wonderful.
you can go in. I bought all the shit when I moved out from my kitchen at the Dollarama. It was like Betty Crocker, like spatulas, like all the cooking utensils.
Yeah.
I buy fucking bakeware there. I buy
They have
like
like
just your oven mitts and shit, face cloths. Like
they have normal brands of things.
they
too.
do.
Like,
That
it's not
sometimes
even,
it's like
weird
super
brands.
cheap.
Well, nothing,
yeah.
nothing at a dollar store, at least in Toronto, Ontario, is $1. It's everything pretty much now starts at like $2 to $3,
Which is why I like the Dollar Tree because everything in there is $1.25 or
so
less.
there's still
And-
$1.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dollarama has like $1 to like $3 merchandise, but there's a lot of it that is like $1.25.
And they do have that
Everything
crafty
for the-
shit.
Yeah, even the craft stuff. Like, it was,
Yeah.
they actually sell like paint there because I
Yep.
had to like make a prop, which I have absolutely no skill in. And I went to like Walmart, and I'm like, oh, this is where I'm gonna find the cheapest paint. And like the acrylic paint or whatever was like $6-7 a piece.
Yep.
So I bought a couple of them, and then I was looking at the dollar store for something in the prop, and then I see they have a whole paint section of the exact same
Yep.
paint, and it was like $1, and they have like brushes and
Everything.
Yeah.
everything. And I was
Little
like,
Sponges,
tiny canvases.
palettes.
it's for videos.
Canvases?
It's the best to buy.
My daughter,
props from the
one
dollar
year for
store.
Christmas, she was like 8, maybe. She was like, I want all craft stuff. She wanted like clay and she wanted different mediums.
Yeah.
I went in and spent $90 at the Dollarama.
God.
Oh wow.
And you should have seen the shit this kid had. And it was everything. There was canvases there. There was paints.
Yeah.
yeah.
There was pastels.
They have all that
charcoal,
wood shit that you can
everything.
decorate, like
Yeah,
all
it's a piece of
bits.
wood.
But
Yeah,
and they have a bunch of stuff in there too, like that's just nice to put on the wall. I bought some oil paintings in there, and people have come in my house. They're like, "My God, that's really cute. Where did you get it?" I'm like, "The fucking Dollarama."
Did you just take it off their wall though?
No, it was legit. They were selling them, and it's beautiful. It's like a painting of a door, and it's
Oh,
really
nice.
colorful. And like I'm from Newfoundland,
Oh, you
everything's
could just
very
get a
colorful
door.
there. Well, it just reminded me of
Yeah,
home,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And because everything in Newfoundland's really colorful, and that's what I miss because out here everything's the
Oh
same.
man,
Like in Newfoundland, if
Very
you put up a
beige.
wall,
Yeah, you don't
somewhere-
like our beige
like-
and brown?
No, like if you put up a wall, like say a retaining wall in an area of town, Newfies are like, okay, so that's a nice gray wall. What are we gonna put on that? And then someone
Oh,
comes along and
man.
paints like the most colorful fucking thing. Everywhere you go, there's like murals, and downtown is crazy with it.
artists in Newfoundland.
There's a lot of but there's like good graffiti, and they fucking
Yeah.
leave it if it's good.
Hey,
and I love that.
in
Oh, that's
Edmonton, we got a
wonderful.
barrier wall of stainless steel balls that we put by our freeway.
Don't even
so-
start me on your
Okay.
fucked up version of art, man. That's some fucked up
those
shit.
things.
Because you guys have silver
They were-
balls and
they
then
were
giant
expe-
everything.
They were expensive, and I heard that they're not even the guy who's from California or something.
yeah, they do that.
Yeah, and it was like millions of
They don't
dollars
even
for those
support
balls.
Can you imagine?
It was
Yeah.
Those are some
it's a lot
expensive
of money.
balls.
Yeah.
But realistically, you could have bought those for $3 a piece at the fucking Dollarama. They have them at Christmas. The giant silver balls.
Yep.
You could have glued gun them together with the glue gun and the fucking glue stick. You also bought at the Dollarama. I could have made that thing for like $200.
There is some
Yeah,
asshole
less.
driving in a Jaguar, and he downloaded this on iTunes by accident, and he's like, "What are these peasants talking about? What is this place?"
Dollarama's so pimped
It's
though.
life changing. I know people with money who fucking love.
Life-changing.
Dude, I'm not even joking. Like when you go in there and you're like, okay, what do you use? What deodorant do you use on a daily basis?
Old Spice.
Okay, are you serious? Because they have that at the Dollarama all the fucking time.
Yeah, they also have it easy to shoplift at a Costco. Minimum security there.
Whatever. You can get it. I like how you can get out of Costco with stuff. They don't even pay attention anymore.
Yeah,
You're not even trying.
you just carry it out. You just have a receipt and just hold it up and walk out.
It's not
and
even,
they're like, yeah,
even
that's
if they
fine.
check your receipt, if you have like a box and you stick like a pack of underwear down in there, they don't even notice. They don't even notice.
It's so,
We've
yeah.
walked out of there with stuff accidentally.
Tried to do it on
Yeah,
purpose,
parody
but-
law, parody law. It's all scripted. What about you, Mark? What's your
This is a
sponsorship?
satire right
It'd
now.
probably be some sort of coffee company,
Yeah,
but not like a Starbucks or something like that. Like it would have to be like some sort of
like Kicking Horse Coffee or
No, like
like,
a Canadian.
So-
like a
yes.
or yeah.
yeah, something like not like a Tim Hortons or it would be like something where I could just get. Do I get product from them though?
you. No matter what, you just get $100 a month, and
I'm represented by them.
you're represented by.
I think
That'd be
it's
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great places in Canada that do some fucking good coffee, man.
Yeah, and just to be like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know, give me a couple gift basket a month of coffee.
Yeah,
That's
right.
my $100. I'm in.
I'd be happy with a Dollarama gift card.
Yeah.
What kind of coffee places do you have in Toronto? It must be just stupid, hey? Like, is there like anyone that you think is like
They
you
have-
must go there?
they
if I
have,
was
like-
over there.
Specialty
There's
coffee
a-
stores
yeah.
that are the first floor of people's houses.
Yeah, it's weird. It's
It
like,
is very strange.
it's I like. Well, if we want to get into it, I'm assuming we're hitting hour 4 of this podcast, so we can.
Don't worry. Once it's edited, this will only be 20 minutes long.
No, like what happened was I used to drink coffee a lot, like Tim Hortons, and then I was in the Scarborough, which is a suburb of Toronto,
Yeah, rough.
and then when I kind of went downtown, they didn't have Tim Hortons like where I was, so then they only had Starbucks and Second Cup, and then so I would be like, oh, I have to get this Second Cup, Starbucks. And then there was a period for about 8 months where I thought I was dying. Like, I was like, I'm dying. I'm having a heart attack when my arms are going numb. I'm like, what is happening? And I remember vividly, I was on the train once, and I was meeting my dad at a subway stop because we had to go do something, and I thought I was going to die. And I remember just telling myself, I'm like, just get to the stop and then die. Like, it was... It was honestly the scariest.
That's quite a checklist.
It was the
Just
scariest.
get there and die.
I was like, just get there. Like, just don't miss the stop because it's gonna get, like it was so crazy. And I remember talking to my friend. He's a comic. I don't know if you guys know Adam Christie. We were talking, and he's like, I was doing a competition at that time, and he did the competition the year before, and he's like, man, this is so funny because I actually checked myself into the hospital because I thought I was dying. And then I'm like, what happened? And he's like, well, they asked me if I had any stress going on in my life. And he's like, well, I'm doing a stand-up thing. And then they're like, well, do you drink coffee? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, well, you're having like insane anxiety attacks.
yeah.
So then so he's like, stop drinking coffee. So I quit coffee cold turkey. And then I stopped drinking it. My death fears went away temporarily. And then I didn't drink coffee. And then for 2 years, I didn't have any coffee. Then I started drinking decaf, and then I started drinking espresso because I found out espresso actually has less caffeine than coffee. But everyone thinks it's the opposite because it's like a super strong coffee.
Yeah.
But the way coffee works is the lighter the roast,
the more caffeine.
the more caffeine's in it.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I wasn't getting anxiety attacks, and my mom pretty much sat me down, and she's like, look, like, families have heart attacks, families have diseases. Unfortunately, you come from 2 deep lines of anxiety. Like my aunt.
Well, you're Italian, right?
Yeah.
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 I think that comes with the pasta, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's in the oil
I
for
just
sure.
know from movies because I'm from Newfoundland and nobody uses anything but Newfie there. But
Insane
Yeah.
anxiety. Like my aunt can't drink coffee. Like to this day, I've never actually known her to drink coffee. She only drinks decaf.
yeah,
She said like when I was a kid, she would almost be checking herself into the hospital once a week of like insane anxiety things, and it was like purely from coffee. So the coffee.
And this is why you're like, I want to be sponsored by a coffee thing. Don't drink it. It'll give you anxiety.
It would have to be an espresso. Like so when you're asking me the coffee shops, like there are a lot of for sure local ones, but there are some of them that like I can't even have their espresso because it like I can feel like it's crazy. But there's definitely like the Kensington Market where he's talking about is the strip where it's all like kind of New Yorkish where everything's outside. It's because you're not allowed to technically sell food or anything in the front of your store in Toronto.
Yeah.
But Kensington is the only area where you're allowed to.
Okay.
So it's an area that has like a block, probably it's smaller than the Edmonton Mall or whatever that big mall is called. Like it's not a huge, it's like,
yeah, it's tiny.
it's a square, but you walk through it and there's like fish out on the side and like, you know, the fish stands. There's like fruits, vegetables, like they're like people playing music, people
there's
doing
weed
acid.
shops.
Yeah.
And like if you walk into a shop far enough, you're in somebody's house.
Yeah.
Wow.
At some point, it's like you're in their living room.
It's like Newfoundland back in the day because we used to have the fruit stands outside.
Yeah.
And the stores that I grew up going to, like the corner stores, was in somebody's house.
Yeah.
How many times would you go in? There'd be nobody in the store. The bell would tinkle and the guy'd come out wiping his mouth because he was eating dinner with his family.
That's so funny.
You know, the TV playing.
That's so funny.
And that's how we were. And sometimes it wasn't even just their house. There was a bar there.
So picture that, but everyone who lives there owns nothing. Because I guess in Newfoundland they would own the house. No one in Kensington.
they would own the house.
No one in Kensington owns anything.
Yeah.
They're like
these are like
there's like
old
19
houses, dirt
people
cheap,
in a house. Yeah.
I know because I do intend. I'm hoping to get out in the spring.
Yeah.
I'm
good.
really seriously. I'm really seriously thinking about just taking the plunge and doing it.
Just check it out.
There's
like
a guy in town right now, Cal Post, very funny comic. He's with Yucks.
Mm-hmm.
He runs probably one of the rooms that I had the most fun doing down there. Spirits Comedy.
Oh yeah, Spirits is
I
a
had
staple. It's been going on for over 15 years.
I had such a great time doing
Well, I know
that.
I've spoke to Kenny Robinson, and he's all down for me to do
the Nubian show.
The Nubian show.
Yeah.
I got to say, like Kenny and Darren have been so good to me.
I've only met Kenny for like 3 minutes, but I've met Darren several times.
Yeah, they're both really great. So
I buy Listerine all the time.
So I would
Darren's
say I don't think it'd be difficult for me to find. Like I know Yucks. Obviously, if I'm planning far enough in advance, Yucks will work me. Yeah. And I think I could fill up the other nights.
Man,
there's a lot of shows. Yeah.
I know Marv doesn't do his show anymore.
But I'm planning to drive.
Yeah, that's a long drive.
Yeah, I figure if I drive like 16 hours one day, sleep 16 hours the next day, I'm there. Just because it'd be easier to have my car there with me.
Oh, no, it won't. It's actually bad. When I was there, I rented a car.
Yeah.
And we rented a car for 2 weeks. We got a great deal. It was like $300 to rent the car. It was about $700 to park the car.
Holy fucking shit.
Like unless you got an electric one.
Like me, really. I was talking to Mark
Tesla,
about it.
You're good.
You cannot park your car for more than 3 hours.
Yeah.
Does a Prius work in those spots?
No.
What is it? Oh, electric cars have spots there?
They tried passing this thing about where
well, couldn't I just pull out my fucking block heater and plug it in and make pretend?
No.
They don't even have that.
Just pretend.
Like
that's
I don't know how
I
don't know how you charge an electric
not with a
car.
plug
I
in.
assume it just plugs in like a vacuum.
No, not a vacuum. Not at all.
It's probably got about as much power.
A little bit different. Yeah.
Got about as much power.
But yeah, when you are there with a car, it's ridiculous. There are some places, like if you're parking on the street and you leave it in front of your house for like 2 days, they'll just tow it.
They do that in Devon.
Yeah, you can't.
3 days, 72 hours. If your car is outside for 72 hours in Devon,
yeah, having a car in Toronto is a downside. It's not an advantage. They have really good transit, though.
They do, but they also don't. It's like
there's hobos jacking off on stuff.
The only reason I say about having my car there is because I have a friend who lives in
like zip cars.
My friend lives in like I'm not sure if it's Whitby or Pickering.
Yeah, those are two places.
Yeah, I know, but I'm not sure
which one
because I know she lived in one and then she moved, but I can't remember if she moved from Whitby to Pickering or Pickering to Whitby.
Yeah, they're
So I'm like, well, if I'm doing shows in Toronto, like I'm sure she'd drive me, but like at the same time, it would be easier. Is there transit from there too?
So you're taking the GO train.
Oh, okay.
Which is gonna be probably $10. Maybe cheaper. I don't know. I've never done it.
So it would be much cheaper to take transit.
It would, but you would need to buy. So this is where I was saying it's good and bad to TTC because when I was in New York, you can get a bus pass for $115 that takes you everywhere 24 hours of the day.
Your system is so good.
It's the best. It's obviously we all know that.
Yeah, Toronto, but there's like a stabbing a day. But other than that,
Toronto depends if you're on the wrong line. Toronto has it's $130 for the bus pass. It's more money. Okay. The subway stops at 1:45. Most buses stop, and you can only take the main lines. The GO train, for example, if you were to go back late, you wouldn't be able to get back to Pickering because they will stop.
Okay.
Right? So it doesn't go out. You'd have to take a special bus. Like, there might be a Greyhound. I don't know. But it's like you would have to leave. You'd have to make sure that you left at a certain time if you were going to take a GO bus to Pickering.
Yeah.
But, like, bus fare is $3.25, which is a rip off of my mind because the bus is always late or – I grew up taking the TTC and I have a deep hatred for it.
It's
and
like that
I
in
will
Newfoundland,
walk
too.
2.5 hours to spite it. Like, people get so mad at me because I'm like, they're like, what time did you leave? And I'm like, oh, like 4 hours ago. And they're like, why? And I'm like, I hate the TTC. Like, I will not take it unless I absolutely need to. And then it's late. Like, when I'm in a rush, it's like I might as well just walk.
Yeah, it's
like,
the same way in Newfoundland. Like, ours runs from, like the same thing you're saying about the main lines. It runs from, like, probably 6-ish in the morning to, like, midnight. And then, so it doesn't run for those 6 hours. And then if you're in certain areas of town, it only runs once an hour for 6 or 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right?
So
And
you're
the
screwed.
connections are always fucked up. They brought in a guy recently, or not recently, but like a couple years before I left. So like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, they revamped the whole transit system in Newfoundland. So when they revamped it, they brought this guy in who was like an expert in public transit routes. And he sat and he planned all our routes. But he didn't take into consideration the fact that Newfoundland is not set out in blocks.
Oh.
So he was giving drivers like, okay, you need to be from here to here in 30 minutes.
So they're going through suburbs.
Well, yeah, because that's the way St. John's is, right?
Yeah.
So like they go, you have 30 minutes to get from this place to this place, and the bus driver's like, you can't do that on a good day.
Yeah.
That's like I can do that without stopping.
Yeah.
But I have to like pick people up and shit.
Yeah.
Right? So, like people want to get off the bus.
Well, isn't it here where Edmonton hired some like artist bus engineer that fucked everything
Well, that's
up?
what happened
That
to
what
us.
happened?
That's exactly what happened to Newfoundland.
Because they put that streetcar that goes through the city, and apparently in rush hour, if you miss the light, you wait like almost 10 minutes.
It's 20 minutes.
It's
is the most I personally have waited.
I have waited.
See,
I heard
feel
that they
like that's
fired
the guy
him.
who came in with the monorail.
I
I feel
appar-
like that's the
that-
monorail.
that's
guy.
Basically,
exactly
off The
what-
Simpsons. Yeah. Let's get that
That's what I
monorail.
heard happen.
I've waited at that light for 10 minutes at 10:30 p.m. and never seen a train.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it just changes everything. Because the guy was like, "Yeah, let's just stop all traffic," and like
On two like big main roads.
yeah,
We don't have trains in Newfoundland either, which makes things a lot easier.
See, where I'm from, you can't really complain about the public transportation.
does
Like,
it
we
not
don't
snow?
we
You don't
don't
need
have
it.
it. We don't, well, no, I'm from very far north in the Yukon.
So it's always snowy.
Always snowing. There's no
Where are you
train.
from
There's
again?
no
Irma
buses.
Frost
Dawson.
Oh, right.
Ugh.
Yeah, you drive north
Yeah.
about 35 hours and you're there.
Lost in the blind.
Yeah, that's really the
Tundra.
furthest north I've ever been was Yellowknife.
Orange.
It's about 8 hours north of that.
Oh yeah,
How far
yeah.
is it from Fort McMurray? That's far as I've been.
Oh man, like 28 hours
Yeah.
north of that.
Yeah, Yellowknife's like 8 hours from Fort McMurray. Yeah.
Wow.
It's very far.
It
north.
is weird, like coming from Toronto, where it's like north is like 4 hours. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're from up north, and it's like, you
Yeah.
know.
North goes. You could go all. The
You
way
can go right
down
to the top.
south.
Yeah,
Yeah.
originally, and it's funny because I've been to Yellowknife to do stand up.
Yeah,
So like,
Eh.
yeah, it's,
you're like in the actual north at that. Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah,
there,
you're in
yeah.
like
Yeah.
Kind of
like
where
CBE
civilization-
North, like
Yeah.
CBC North.
Yeah, that's CBC North. Where I'm from is like HBO North.
Yeah.
Civilization, like Fort McMurray is kind of like the wall around there, and then above that, it's like fucking Wild West.
Yeah, it is. It's a little
Just-
crazy.
Yeah, I've
They
never
they got a
gone past it.
ratio where
I know
like
it gets dark there like 5 o'clock.
that's why gingers are great. But it's
The Northern Lights are very pretty though.
the ratio
heard.
there is for every one woman there's like
Yeah.
12 men.
I've heard
Ooh, I
this.
need to move there.
Yeah. Oh, people.
heard
Be like
Like-
shooting fish in a fucking barrel.
Yeah, basically, it's
But
crazy.
isn't it rough even for the women there? Like it's like they're like completely. They get yelled at all the time by the guys and stuff.
What? I don't know.
Like
I've heard actually. You
This
know,
one
it's
wouldn't.
funny. I tell you what I have heard though. There's places there where they bring in strippers.
Yep.
So they bring in
They fly them
They
in?
fly these strippers in because they don't
It's
have
like- it's like
anything.
stand
all the
up.
strippers have landing strips.
They put them in. They bring them in. They put them up in a hotel, and the strippers will work for like a week, right? But they do the same thing for comedy. I heard.
Yeah.
And they'll bring in comics, and you work for like a week, and they put you in a hotel, and they pay you, blah blah blah. So I'd love to get on that.
I could do both.
Yeah, I cannot.
Like, hey guys,
In
come
both
back
areas,
next
I'm a
week
niche
when I'll be
market.
stripping.
Everybody clear out. I got the show right after this.
Yeah,
We're gonna get
I'm
naked
considered.
now.
I'm considered a
Triple X
fetish.
show.
Oh, but yeah, up north there, it's crazy. when like the sun goes down at like 2 p.m, and then there's like a couple days where the sun just doesn't go down, where it goes
Yeah.
up in the air and then just circles and then
Like,
circles
like the
again,
sun's lost.
and it keeps getting
It's
lower.
fucked up
and then
though.
boom.
I remember when I worked up north in Conklin, just outside of
Yeah,
Conklin, when
yeah.
I worked in Devon Jackfish, and we'd be outside, and we get to work at like 7 in the morning, 6:37, and we go out on site and we'd start working. It'd be pitch black out, and then the sun would come up, and then like it'd be like high noon, and then the sun would immediately go right back down.
Yep.
And I would say it was like the sun would come up and go, fuck this. And just because it was like minus fucking gross,
Yeah.
right?
Well, it instead of coming like right over you, it just stays on the horizon. It's like, oh, there we go.
Yeah, it doesn't even, it's like
Yeah.
peak.
It's like it's not coming all the way up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
it's like getting a semi, and
Yeah,
then it just
yeah.
goes away.
It's just so disappointing.
Oh yeah, it
This
is.
so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
Nightmarishly cold up there.
It is cold, yeah.
I always like when people are like, "Oh, you're from the Yukon. Are you gonna go back?" I'm like, "Why? Why
You know
would
what
you
really-
ever go
okay,
back?"
Well, you know what really
I
bugs
got
me though?
out.
I can understand your point of view because of the Yukon. I get it. But I've been reading a lot of stuff online about, you know how everyone talks about like if Trump gets in, we're going to move to Canada.
Send them all up there,
Right, but no,
Fuck with them.
well, it's funny because a lot of Americans like they'll look at stuff like how great Iceland is or how great Canada is, and they're like, you know, I would, but it's just too gosh darn cold. I'm like, well, that's where you draw the line.
yeah,
Weather,
Yeah.
like you can prepare for weather.
yeah. You can put a
You
coat
know,
on.
Yeah.
How do
you
you
can
how
put
do you get how do you get rid of racism and
Yeah.
intolerance? What sort of
Weather
coat do you
doesn't
need for
wanna
that?
How do you avoid civil war? There's no toque for that.
Well, I mean,
Maybe that's why,
it'll
'cause
be
they
in
had
the
such
dollar
good
theater soon
weather.
enough.
It's great. I would agree with you. A month and a half ago, I was in LA, and you can't if it was like the 1800s, I would fight for my weather.
You would just
Yeah,
go
now
down
we
there
have-
and invade them for LA.
I would be like, if I was from LA and someone was like, "We're taking over," and it was like that every day, I'm like, "You're not taking this." Like, it's insane. Like, I was never a
That's
person
why I feel like there's going to be a civil war, though.
for what I totally will.
There already was.
I think there's
Captain America: Civil War. It was
I-
a great movie.
Well, there's no Captain America. There's just fucking Captain fucking Caveman who's running the show or about to run the show. So, you know, it's fucking scary. But I understand the weather thing, but I really, realistically, I just feel like it's kind of a dumb.
Oh, it's for sure. It's like judging somebody on looks. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's just like the lowest common sense of something. You're like,
Wait,
this
are you
is-
saying we all shouldn't be worshiping a Kardashian right now?
No, but I totally agree with you, and it's so funny because when you hear it, I'm like, really, that's just your
and
logic.
then to be honest, it's colder
like you deserve
in
Trump.
like New York. Like last year,
Oh,
I was
New
in
York
New York
is
and
crazy.
Toronto.
Yeah.
And it was colder in New York
Well,
than it
I'm
was in
from-
Toronto.
And I'm from Newfoundland. It doesn't get as cold in Newfoundland as it does here,
yeah,
but it's
yeah.
damp, right? And then you go to like Vancouver, which is fucking beautiful. I mean, you know, and all of like Western Canada is just fucking
Yeah.
great, like way west. So I don't know. I just think it's a matter, and I think too it depends on like where your priorities lie.
Yeah.
Because for me, coming to Alberta, I was terrified of the winter, and the winter came, and I was like, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And my first winter here was like one of the worst winters they had in a long time, and it hit like
Yeah.
minus 50. It was horrible.
Yeah,
And
it was a good winter.
yeah, and then the next two winters were really great. Last winter was fucking fantastic, but it was so bad. But it was really good because I knew, like, okay, you know what? This is as bad as it gets.
Yeah, you're like, it
You know,
can't get
yeah,
worse.
it can't
And
get
if
any
it
worse
does,
than
it's
this.
going to get worse for the whole world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not just me, right? So,
Yeah.
and then the
It set a
last,
bar. It set a
yeah.
bar. So yeah.
And then not last winter, but the winter before, I fucking worked outside. I was in.
Yeah.
I worked up north. I worked in on site, so I
Yeah.
worked outside in the cold with fucking my Dakota steel toe boots. I think the cat used the toilet. Is that the cat using your toilet? That's fucking awesome.
oh,
So
cat
I had
just litter boxed.
so I had like the Dakota like minus 40 steel toe
Yeah.
boots because steel toe boots are brutal if they're not insulated.
Oh yeah, if you got a
Cold,
chunk
right?
of steel on
yeah,
your
cold
feet.
steel.
Imagine
And then
how.
I had-
oh.
But I had boot warmers on my toes, right, behind my toes, and I had hand warmers in my mitts. I had them down in my bra. Like it was horrible.
Yeah.
And but I did it because I was like, at the end of the day, I'd get a pay stub, and I go, yeah, that's why. That's why. I
Yeah,
did
it's
Yeah, huh,
worth
that's,
it,
yeah,
I did
that's
all
why they
those
pay you
things.
so much here.
That's why I did all those
Yeah.
things.
I definitely think that the weather's in your head, though. Like, if you think about it, I was talking, my friend was like, have you ever seen kids? Kids will run in the middle of winter with no jacket on.
Yeah.
And because they're not, like, someone was telling me, they're not, like, scared because they don't know. It's everyone being like, oh, it's cold outside, or it's cold in Alberta, and you get so scared about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can mentally just kind of tell yourself, that, like, there are monks, do you know this, that can, like, heat their body, like
Yeah.
record, like they have proven cases
Like mind over matter kind of thing.
where they
Yeah.
make their hand hot. Like I'm talking hot, like not to like
Yeah.
boil water, but like it's different than the rest
Yeah.
of their body. So it's definitely like I think all in your head for sure. Like
Now that being said, sir, have you ever spent a winter in Alberta? Have you ever been
November,
here?
not in January.
No, have you been here in Have you been here
No.
when the air hurts your face
I
or
think
your
in-
nostrils stick together?
I haven't been here in December, but I did take the bus for a month in November. So I was waiting at that bus for about an hour and a half sometimes, and it was rough.
I tell you, because
Yeah.
in January, like I remember going out to unplug my car, which this car, knock on wood, I haven't plugged this one in since I bought it. But my Ford, I would plug it in, and I would have to. If I didn't plug it in, I knew she wasn't going to start in the morning if it was colder than -20.
Yeah.
And but you go out and unplug the car, and there'd be snow on the
Oh, the electricity
on
through
the
the snow.
no, just on snow on the
Prong.
the cord, right?
Yeah.
So my hands would get wet, right? So I go back in and grab the doorknob,
Oh my god.
and my hands would stick to the doorknob. That's how
When
fucking
you
cold
breathe
it
through
is.
your nose
I-
and
Your nostrils stick
freeze
together.
Yeah,
You had to buy
that.
Vaseline to put like inside your
shut.
nostrils
Yeah, like
and oil and like I'm at the point now where I'm lathering up with Crisco.
I'm a
I-
psycho
Winter.
in the winter. Like
I want to
my
rip my
entire
flesh
body
off.
fucks.
It's so dry.
Yeah, like
Huh.
my entire body fucks up. It's
Two-
not
two
just the
year- 2
coldness,
years
like,
ago-
the duration.
2 years
It's
ago,
long.
12-hour
It's long.
hunting trip in -40. I was fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just the duration of the cold. It's just like your life is
Like,
way
the-
more inconvenient.
the
for,
thing
like,
is,
a lot of months.
I always,
Yeah.
when I was
It's-
growing up,
and here it's long too.
Oh, yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
The length is
But at
what
the
great
same
is.
time, it's
Yeah.
a great cold.
Because you're like, I
in
get it. It's cold. What's next?
Yeah, yeah. In Newfoundland, though, you don't get warm. Like here, you walk inside,
and
take
you
off
were
your
toasty.
gloves, take off your hat, your coat, your hat, and everything.
and
you're
all
good.
your cats. Yeah,
But in Newfoundland, you walk inside and you're still soaking wet. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
the
it's-
humidity.
It's not as cold, but it's so damp.
Yeah.
So it's
best-
just like in you. Like I remember
Like-
walking home and looking at my I'm like, why is my jacket wet? It's not even fucking raining. You know, like
Really?
the air is so
So-
wet that
So like there's like
But I
a
bet you
mist.
get fabulous skin when you're
you
there.
do. I'm when I'm, but my hair is this big. Like it's my
Oh,
hair's
mine would be
giant.
like-
Yeah, my hair's giant in
Here,
Newfoundland.
for the listener, she's gesturing like
Yeah,
Lady
like
Gaga
my
hair.
like yeah, I have like Don fucking King hair in Newfoundland. And then like but my skin is great because I don't have to worry about like there's no dryness, right?
Yeah.
So it's just but I live by the ocean. So yeah, out here it's like holy fuck, why is it so dry?
When I was growing up, my dad would always take me hunting. It was freezing cold, and I would tell him, like, I remember I told him, I'm like, Dad, it's cold. And he goes, we all know it's cold. Complaining about it just makes it harder for everybody. Let me know if it starts to hurt.
I've
That's a good
been there, too.
mentality.
Yeah, and it was like, if
Starts to hurt.
the cold starts to hurt you, like, if you're going to be damaged by this, let me know and we'll stop. But if you're just moving your mouth to complain, that's
Yeah.
just going to make everybody else focus on it.
Yeah.
So,
Forget
yeah.
about it. Yeah.
When I go
That's
hunting,
Crazy.
2 winters ago, 12-hour hunting trip, -40. It was the peak low. And like it got to about like -25. It was nice out, nice and balmy.
So nice when it's -25.
I know. And yeah, we were out wandering for 12 hours. We were out hunting. And yeah, there was a couple times where like you blink and your eyelashes
Yeah,
freeze
yeah.
together. And
What
you have
animals are out at -40? Like
all of them,
Gorillas?
all of them,
They
because
still
they
have
have to
bees.
move. They
Dude.
move at that. The colder it gets, the more they move, and the easier they're to hunt
Really?
because they can't hide because they
I
have to
didn't know
move
people
or they
hunted
freeze.
in the winter time.
I tell you,
That's actually when you have
that's
to
hunting
freeze.
season.
Really?
Yeah, that is. You can only hunt big game in winter.
I do not understand why anyone would do this by choice.
I've hunted.
Yeah,
I've
I
hunted.
It's just like not that it's like
Yeah.
not like
In
oh I'm
January.
against hunting, but it's like I'm against being outside in the cold by choice.
Well, it's interesting because like we're saying to Mark, we're like minus. I'm like it's nice. Nick's like yeah, it's nice, and he's laughing. I'm fucking serious. -25.
Oh yeah,
Nice
mine
as
is
a minus
comfortable.
40.
Like there's honest to God, you'll get to a point where you'll be like, dude. Come on,
Your
let's go,
nose
blah, blah,
doesn't-
blah. Well, I don't want to walk to the bar tonight. Come on, it's only -25.
minus-
Oh, fuck, why didn't you tell me? That's t-shirt weather.
When it's like -20 or -25, it's like my nose isn't freezing.
Yeah,
and it's not snowing.
You can handle it. Yeah, it's
so
that.
it's like
it's
I
that
don't have to shovel.
oh, it's you've
There's-
reached that perfect. It's like the
it's too cold to
it's
shovel.
it's the perfect temperature then because it is. It's too cold to snow,
Yeah.
but it's not so cold that you feel like you're gonna die.
When you get the
Yeah.
exposed flesh warning, that's always when you know it's bad. When they're like,
What?
oh, exposed.
Exposed
It's
flesh.
usually about -35 or so, where it's like if you have exposed skin for more than 10 minutes, it will start to freeze and break open like a
Yeah, you'll
frozen
get
zombie
frostbite,
person.
like legit.
No,
frostbite
that doesn't
and-
happen.
Yeah, that's an actual
Yeah.
thing. That's
Like,
a
but
real thing.
Nobody really has their face out in the cold that long.
I
in the
didn't even
winter.
wear a hat last time I was here. And
Oh
that
yeah,
didn't
no,
happen.
it was a
November?
beautiful winter.
Oh, November's beautiful. It'd be so foolish.
Oh, so you're talking about like when it gets
January.
colder.
Yeah,
Like
and
end of
it's been
December,
a-
January.
It's been a couple winters.
The
since
first
it's
year
been
I
like
was
that,
here, it
really.
started in October. By November, December, it was pretty cold. By January, it was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. We can
But
find. a
what do you
little
put on
further
your
south.
face then?
You just don't go
You
out.
you have like a 10-minute thing. So you start your car and you go in your house. Your car gets warm.
Oh.
You get in your car. You drive to work.
Yeah.
You go
Or-
in and you work.
We do what I do, which is I put like I take Vaseline
Yeah, that'll work.
and rub it on my face. Not like thick layer of it, but just enough.
It
that
holds the heat in
it'll hold the moisture
holds
in your
the
face.
moisture
Your
in
skin
your
doesn't
face,
crack, right?
because it only
Well,
it's
no one will
exposed
see
flesh.
it. It's just like super duper moisturized, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it only hits your exposed flesh.
Yeah.
Like these are real things.
I'm telling you, Bath
been a while, though,
Bath
since
and Body
this has
Works
been a
out
thing.
here is a fucking Bath and Body Works out here like lotion. I've never been one to go buy like bottles of lotion. Like if I saw a sale, I'd be like, okay, I can get one. Now I'm like, oh, they're 3 for $15. I'm gonna get 3 lotion,
Yeah.
3 body wash. Fuck it, I'll get 3 more lotion because I know I've gone through so much lotion since I've been here, and
Wow.
I've
I have
tried
a lotion
everything.
like all over my house.
Yeah,
I have
body
one
butter.
everywhere that I sit.
I have it at my desk at
I
work.
have it to put it on because I just get itchy.
Yeah,
I get
from-
it.
I know I'm
for
gonna rip my
sure.
flesh off, and it's so bad. But like, if you're smart, like my daughter when we moved here, 'cause she gets really dry. I was like, okay, every time you get out of the shower, you need to moisturize. Like this is just
Yeah.
this is our life now.
I know, and
And,
it sucks because it takes time.
I know, like just to get out
And
of
then,
the
like,
it
aren't
takes
you
me,
like wet, and then you put the cream
Well,
on,
no,
and then it doesn't?
that's
It's like
the
all
best way.
turns
That's
white.
the time to put it on. So you dry off,
Your pores are open.
And then
Yeah.
you still have the moisture in
but your
body.
skin is damp, and then you put lotion on. So I have to put.
We're explaining how to moisturize
I have to
the
put
mark.
oil on first. I put body oil on first, and then I put lotion over that. But what happens is when you put lotion on damp skin, the moisture doesn't evaporate out. It has to stay there, traps it.
Huh.
So yeah, it keeps you from getting like I used to be able to be like, oh, shave my legs, put a little moisturizer on my legs. Now I have to put moisturizer in my fucking ears. Like it's
Yeah,
retarded.
I get eczema.
like
and
every
weirdness in my
single
ears.
part of my body. I'm
Yeah.
like trying to fucking reach my back.
Okay,
Like,
so
I
what did
hate
we
it.
talk about today? We talking about cars, moisturizer, sponsorship,
Hot water.
hot
Coffee,
water,
dollar
drinking
round.
hot water,
diets and health.
diets and health, the medical.
I think
See,
we got a marathon going
So there,
on
there
here.
you go, Mark. You're wondering how the podcast goes. That's kind of how it
That's how it goes. Yeah, that's how Mickey rolls.
Oh yeah. Also, yeah, you won a comedy contest. You won the
Oh, I
biggest
did,
comedy
yeah.
contest in all of Alberta.
Do you think it's the biggest one in all of Alberta?
Yeah.
Because I think Calgary thinks they might have a big one.
Well, they're wrong.
I think they're wrong too.
What yours is the funniest person with a day job?
I won the funniest person with day job. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was recent.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was back in May last
Oh,
month.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in like
It's
5
like
days.
3 weeks ago.
You know, I actually thought we were in November right now. I'm not even joking. Like when you said back in May, I was like, oh, that's probably like 6 months ago. And I'm
Oh,
like, no,
that's-
we're like in June.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
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 So was that at the comic strip?
Yeah, I had done. I wasn't going to do the competition this year, but then I was like on the fence or whatever, and everybody was like, "The prize is better. The prize is better."
What was it?
It turns out the prize was,
Way better.
yeah, it was the $1,000 and
in
the weekend
which-
trip, but
In winter, she gets to go to Arizona.
yeah,
That's amazing.
and probably Minneapolis
Oh,
because you get
nice.
to do
You
both.
do all the clubs.
Rick says definitely one, maybe two. Maybe both. So hopefully it'll be both, but still, whatever. I'm really excited
And
about
in
Yeah,
that.
right.
winter.
Yeah, in
Like,
winter.
that's
Yeah, I get to go
awesome.
to Phoenix. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I think the it's like the Mall of America or
Yeah.
whatever that. So I'm like, this is pretty cool. I've never seen any
And
of
you
that
obviously
shit.
get paid for that weekend.
Well, I've never been to the States, so
Yeah.
I'm really excited. So
Oh well, it's there.
yeah. So I'm excited to do that. So that was really cool. But I did the preliminary round, and I kind of blew through like first place, and then I did the semifinals, and I did the same thing. So then I just went into the finals, and it was really fucking. The
I don't-
competition was fucking. There was 36, 37 comics total, but the comics at the last.
Oh no, there was way more than that.
Was it more? 'Cause
There was almost 60 total.
Was it almost? Because I know there was like an insane number of comics
Wow.
at the preliminaries, and there was like 3-4 rounds.
But I heard
preliminaries?
from a
There's like
comic that
12
you
each show.
you bombed in the finals. I heard from
You're
a
gonna
comic-
bring that up? Are you gonna bring? He's gonna be so mad. He gets so mad when I bring that up.
you bombed?
Well, no, because what happened was, so in the finals, the competition was intense, and I felt like Dion Arnold was. I was blown away by this kid's performance.
It was very funny.
He was fucking. It wasn't even just his. It was his timing.
Just- he
His
is
jokes were
very laid
intelligent.
back, yeah.
Yeah, it was. He segued from one subject. Like it was just incredible. It was I'd never seen him crush so well.
Wow.
I'd seen him crush, but this was off off the wall. And I've known Dion for like 3 years since I've moved to Alberta. He's a really good kid.
Yeah.
And then Ryan Short had a really strong set as well. That I was really impressed with.
Yeah.
So, and then of course, but everybody was great. Everybody was fucking fantastic. Dion's energy though, and Ryan's energy were kind of more closer to mine. But so at the end of it, Dion had come third. So when they announced Dion, I was like, holy fucking shit, that's Dion's third. So I said, okay, maybe like Ryan got first. Like I just couldn't wrap my head around it. And then they said Ryan's name second. So I was genuinely like, who the fuck won this?
Yeah, you
because I would have put my money on Dion for sure.
Spoiler alert, it was you.
And yeah, no, but and then they announced my name, and it was funny because I had asked Nick because I kind of had to rush through my last joke, which wasn't a big deal because I had taken it was a bit that's real long, but I had taken pieces out of it.
Yeah,
it wasn't a big deal. So I went down afterwards and I said to Nick, "How was it?" Because it felt good to me, but I wasn't entirely sure because I had to fucking take so much of that last bit. And Nick goes, "No, it was good. You left on a high note. Everybody was laughing. You did well." So then that was fine. And then Ryan says to me, we're at Shaw Island a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And Ryan, who got second, comes up to me and he goes, he goes like, I really thought you bombed that night. And I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. He said, I really thought you bombed that night. And I go, well, if I bombed, you committed suicide because I got first and you were second. But what he meant was, he goes, it was a bomb for you.
Yeah.
And what he meant was, and I understand because my ex would say it all the time whenever I had a shitty show, and I'd be
they've
like,
seen you do well.
He's like, you did good. He goes, but I know you're better than that.
Yeah.
And that's what Ryan's point was. He goes,
Yeah.
you did good, but I know you're better than that.
So you basically beat him with a hand tied behind your back.
Well, but it was amusing in that he was trying to make it a compliment.
Yeah.
But it wasn't coming out that way because he's a guy.
Yeah.
Ryan's also
And-
totally 8 years old.
I know, right? And it's funny because Ryan has so much energy and
Yeah.
he's bouncing around. So when we were the night of the competition, the guy came out of the sound booth and he goes, "Do you guys want me to keep?" There was this guy that was kind of wandering around that hangs out at the strip, and they were like, "Do you want us to keep?" Yeah, he was like, "Do you want us to keep him away from you?" I was like, "Yeah, and if you could possibly keep Ryan Short away from us, that'd be great as well." And Ryan's just like, "What?" But I always say we need to get a playpen for Ryan to put him in the corner.
A little ball
during the
pit.
show.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, just to put a blanket over the top. You know,
So
now it's
play
calm
sound
time.
Just be
room?
bouncing off the wall.
Now it's
spinning
calm
around,
time.
making dolphin
Yeah.
noises.
Yeah, let's sit him in there with his little pudding cup and a straw that he
Don't-
talks about.
Yeah,
the-
but
The one day he came, like we did a show, and he goes, "Nick, you don't do jokes anymore. What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's just crowd work. It's okay. It's just like that's kind of part of my day job, so I do it on stage to get better at it." And then he immediately turned to the doorman. He's like, "You kind of look like this guy, and you look like that." And I'm like, "Are you doing crowd work to the group of 4 people having a conversation right now?" He's like,
But
I want to get good at it.
You host a lot though, right?
Yeah.
So it's important that you do crowd work. Like
Yeah.
I hosted for 7 years, and for a little while there last year, I kind of moved away from crowd work, and I got called out on it by a couple of comics that I was working with, and I'm glad they did. One full on called me out, and the other one I went to and I was like, "Hey, did you notice?" And he's like, "Yeah, I kind of did." So I really respected them for being really honest with me because then I immediately went back into my crowd work. And it's funny because when I do go into I love doing crowd work. I feel like I'm really good at crowd work most of the time.
I'll give you a 7 out
But-
of 6.
But I feel like but it's comfortable to me, right? So I don't
Yeah.
mind doing it. But I felt like I had gone away from it for so long, so it was a little bit just trying to get back into it. But I feel like it's a muscle you definitely need to flex regularly.
Oh, especially going on these road gigs, like in doing 60
Oh,
minutes.
Yeah.
Like I brought my friend out with me, and I told him, I'm like, look, man, I hate the idea of anyone ever telling me this, but I now get it after doing it, and I'm like, I'll bring you out to open and introduce you to the people who run the shows, but you need to do your act. You need to do minimum crowd work, and
Yeah.
people will completely argue with what I'm saying. They're like, oh, let the person do whatever they want. It's fine, but when you have to do 60 minutes, you have to be a bit of a human and a comic, I guess, where you need to break out of doing material and talk to them because you're doing 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is-
Jeff Leeson.
Yeah, Jeff does pure crowd work. Yeah, Jeff's hilarious at it. But it was like,
Amber does too. It's fucked up.
yeah, no, like I love and respect crowd work for sure. Like I love doing
Yeah.
it, and it's just like the first time I went out, or the second time when I actually had to do 60 minutes, I was like going through it, and I'm like, I was going through my act, and I'm like, oh man, things are going well. This is working. We're having a good time. And then I'm in my mind, I'm getting ready to get into my closer.
And what, you're like 40 minutes in?
28.
Oh, no!
I was like,
Did you not run long enough that day?
You know what? What happened was I don't know what happened because
But
I did the same set the day before,
Yeah.
and it
It depends though, like, because I've gotten to the point too. Because when I first started, it was always about getting these big, huge laughs, right? And
Yeah.
then immediately getting on to the next laugh. And now I've learned to kind of
just sit in it.
savor and
Yeah.
soak it up. But I did a gig in Lethbridge, and they wanted me to do 50 to 55. I think it was 40,
probably
or 45
they wanted
to
you
50.
to do exactly 43 minutes.
Yeah,
somewhere.
43 minutes.
It was
and
something
33
stupid,
seconds.
right? And then I was like, okay, so I said to the guy who was hosting it, I said, can I go over the time? Because I want to try some crowd work. And he's like, yeah, well, I don't care. Do however much time you fucking want. I don't care. So I did an hour 5 because I
Yeah.
did like 20 minutes of crowd work.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I love the fact that if you feel
If
like,
it gets rolling, you can
yeah,
you
and
can
I mean,
really
yeah,
push
for
it.
sure. And especially like, I kind of feel like you almost want to beat it to death sometimes. Not in a bad way, but just, you know,
No, but
run with it.
imagine a show with everybody doing that. That's the argument. Because when you go
Well,
up
because you're
as
only going to hit so many things.
there's only going to be so many things, and then when you have like, I really enjoy doing jokes,
Yeah.
but I also love doing crowd work. But I don't want to go up on stage and have to do 60 minutes, and then the audience is now in talking mode because the person who went on before me did 20 minutes of crowd work. So now the
Yeah.
audience is like, oh, if this guy loved crowd work, this guy's going to love it even more. And then you go up and they're talking. I would rather follow someone who bombed for 30 minutes than follow someone who did 30 minutes of crowd work.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I get the laughs and all that, or you get bigger laughs doing crowd work than you can with material. Like, that's common sense for sure.
There are some times where you need it. I did
For sure you
Regina.
do.
I did Regina with Ryan Patterson, and there was these 25 women from an esthetician place,
Yeah.
like a beauty salon, and they were so drunk and wouldn't stop talking. I had to bring one of them on stage
Yeah.
to pluck my eyebrows while I
That's
did
funny.
jokes,
Yeah.
so that they would be like, "Look at Becky, look at." So that
Yeah.
was the only like.
No, but when
yeah,
I
it was the
totally
only way.
understand, and I told my friend, I'm like, I'm not saying don't do basic stuff. You know, like if you're gonna talk to people, do it. But if there's like, and maybe some people would say that it's stupid of me to say this, but I'm like, if there's like an obvious thing in the room,
Yeah, if there's a guy wearing like a safety vest
just kind
that
of
happened
leave
at a
it.
show.
Or a,
You
a
know?
ball gag.
Well, when I did Grand Prairie, there was a tandem bike on stage, and I go to Charles. This is the first time I did 60 minutes. I go to Charles. I'm like, look, man, you can talk about the bike, but don't like spend your whole set on it, because in my brain, I'm like, this is gonna be my safety. That show, at the 28-minute mark, I'm like, what about this bike? I went to the bike. I ended up doing over 75 minutes because I went into all this crowd work, and then I went back to my material.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just kind of weird for someone to beat up all the premises off the top.
Yeah.
And I get it.
Save some. You mean you just want him to save some?
And it's like I've done both positions
Yeah.
at this point, and it's like as an opener or middle or whatever, like I really feel like your job and my job, because I still middle, is to just do an act. Just do an act, right?
See now, and then, but Breslin's idea as a host is that you don't do any material
As
at
an
all.
MC is different.
Yeah.
MC is different. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we're talking about a 3-person
Oh
show.
yeah, okay. So you're just talking about strictly on the road. Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. I don't.
Well, and I think too, like part of it is even if you're on the road,
Yeah.
I feel like if I'm opening for you,
We're almost.
Yeah.
I
We
feel
got
like if
9
I'm on the
minutes.
road with you and I'm
Yeah.
opening for you, then my job is to set the room up for you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's
So
the
even if-
mentality that people
yeah.
should have.
So I don't know, like you say, well, I want to do the crowd work. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Do we have anybody celebrating
Yeah.
here or anything tonight? Pick them out for you. Okay, so this bitch over here is 19. Make some jokes about this.
Yeah.
This table here, they're all nurses. These are all teachers. These guys, and then if you're a good headliner, you're paying attention to all that shit that
Yeah.
I'm doing. So when you come out, you're just going to nail them all.
Yeah, and you know what? To defend myself in the sense that I don't want to seem like people are gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's an idiot," because I don't want to be like,
No, I get
Oh,
exactly what you're saying.
well, I don't want it to even be as blunt as I want to do all the crowd work, because on the other hand, the crowd work I'm gonna do is probably nothing most people like. I'll find the dumbest thing to talk
Yeah.
about when something though is very obvious, like the tandem bike.
Yeah.
It's just like you can go up and do 20 minutes of birthdays and anniversaries. As long as you end on at least 5 to 7 minutes of material, it gets them in that mode.
It gets them in shut up mode.
It gets them in listening to a joke mode. And
Yeah.
that's why, like, I've worked with people who are like Jeff Leeson, who do crowd work. And I've worked with, like, people like Charles Haycock. And it's like Charles will do material, and the audience will laugh. They won't. They'll listen. They'll talk. But by the end of it, you go up, and it's like a perfect, like, we're in
Harmonized.
comedy zone,
Yeah.
you know? And that to me is why I just would want someone to go up and
yeah.
do.
Well, and that's I gotta say I've been noticing too. Like there's a lot of and I don't know if I'll take some shit for saying this, but there's a lot of shitty hosts going around right now. A lot of shitty openers that are going in, and they are. And I mean, there's no other way to describe
There's
it.
not
Lisa,
a lot of people. That's the
Lisa, I
problem.
can't host every show. I'm sorry, okay?
But no, just as like for like when I was taught to host, I was brought in, I was sat down, I was given like this is how you do it.
Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore.
No, and that was only 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And the sad part is there's a lot of comics though that are going out there and you see them go over, right? So you're doing 25 minutes. Split that up however the fuck you want. Most of it should be at the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do 20 off the top, you're going to do 5 in the middle. Do not get up and do 5 and go, I'm crushing, and then do another 5.
Yeah.
Because I've had hosts look at me and go, man, I hate hosting because, I have to waste so much time asking if people are celebrating anything when I just want to do my material. I'm like, it's not your fucking show. Yeah. The show is not about you.
Yeah.
Right?
The show is about the audience.
Yeah. I've had hosts offer or openers or whatever say like, oh, this guy over here, I'm going to give him a guest spot. And I'm like, well, I'm the headliner. Like, why?
Yeah.
That's my call.
And because
and it's not that I'm going to say no. It's the fact that for 7 years, I've showed this respect to other comics.
Yeah.
Can you just please show me that respect? For 7 years, I've been an opener. I've finally moved to headline status, and I'm not going to be shown the same courtesy. And then, but in regards to hosting, though, Marcus Bobier gave me the best advice when it comes to headlining, which was if you get because I was like, I didn't want a shitty host. My first weekend hosting at or headlining Yucks, they gave me Marcus Bobier.
Wasn't Marcus just at Edmonton Yucks?
Yeah, he was opening for me. He was hosting.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I just saw him there. Yeah,
and Jai Harris was the middle. And when I saw the geek sheet, I was like, it was like the comedy gods went, here you go, and I was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah,
Marcus gave me. We were sitting in Calgary having coffee, and he goes, listen, I'm going to give you some advice because I was talking about there's so many shitty hosts, and he goes, this is the advice I'm going to give you. If you have a really shitty host, you get to come out and crush.
For sure.
He goes, if you have a really great host, you get to come out and ride that fucking wave.
Yeah.
Because it's always win-win for you. And I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of fucking sense.
And
it's just shitty when they're shitty and they won't listen to you. Tell them they're shitty. Like, dude, you need to do this.
And we always like to pay homage and everything. So where can the listeners find your dates and deets and stuff?
Oh, Twitter. No, I don't put them on Instagram. I put pictures there. You can go and like those to validate me.
What do you? I think I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah. It's just Lisa Baker Comedy.
Yeah.
Twitter. I think it's at Lisa Baker Comedy or something like that. If you search me up, you'll find me. And then Facebook, Lisa Baker Comedian. I put all my dates there.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Facebook, sweet. Mark.
Everything's pretty much marked DeBonis, and then it's there.
The spelling on that, the bonus. I misspelled it.
People don't understand the spell for some reason. I think it's easy.
DEBONIS?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how.
Yeah.
I put a U instead of an I in it.
You spelled DeBonis.
DeBonis.
Yeah.
DeBonis.
Oh, yeah, DeBonis. Because everyone says is. So.
Yeah. It to me, I'm like, I don't understand how this is. Like, I don't know. But yeah, DEBONIS.
And
People
that
misspell my name all the time. It's null, like wall and ball and call.
Really?
They want to put like one L or NAUL.
Yeah, they always add a little flair to last names.
Yeah. Nobody fucks up my name.
Baker.
Lisa Baker.
That's at least a word.
They're like, how do you spell it? I'm like, just like it fucking sounds.
But the bonus is that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah, my Twitter and Instagram. I don't really use Instagram that much. My website's just Mark DeBonis. It has all the info there.
Is that a .gov?
.com.
.com.
.dov. Yeah, .dov.
Sweet.
Mark.dov.
Mark.dov.com. Jamie Nall, what's your website?
JamieNall.com, except for some reason, if you type the www on it, it doesn't connect.
Okay.
So it has to just be JamieNall.com, and I need to contact my domain or my.
Did you do it on
provider.
WordPress?
No, I did it through. Well, I had the domain in Squarespace and then transferred it. And
So it must be a transfer. There's something. It's like an NTS or something. Or
yeah,
there's
I
something
need to
weird.
contact somebody.
Yeah, they'll figure.
Yeah, JamieNall.com, no www.
So it's not a website.
Yeah. My website is actually just a poster on a tree. And yeah, I'm Nick McQuick, your ever-loving host. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Okay, guys, as always, our music is done by Ben Sound, audio touch-ups and engineering done by Triptych Winter. Thank you very much for listening to the podcast. We had a wonderful time making it. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. if you could go to our Facebook page and hit like on that, or Twitter and follow us or some such, it actually kind of helps out. Or if you're on iTunes, like, favorite, subscribe, rate, review, I don't know, do something. Just do things, okay? Thank you very much.
Okay, knock, knock, guys.
That's a normal thing.